December 8th at 6:05. Review agenda for addition, removal, or adjustments of any items. Got
We have,
anything, Ian?
yeah, one addition, 5D, Bristol Fire Department accept the resignation of firefighter Tim O'Toole.
Okay. You have anything, Greg, you need to add?
Oh.
Okay, public forum, 5 minutes per person, non-agenda related. No, that's just the hand on the thing. Yeah.
I have some.
Yeah, John.
And I read it and take about 3 minutes to read it. That's how I keep on time.
Okay,
And if you want to follow along here, but I still like to read it into the record, just to be for you. At the town meeting in 2026, there will be a warrant question. Quote, shall the funding for the police district of the town be altered so that the entire town pays for the funding of the town police district? Close quote. So voters, the townspeople have that before the coming up here in March. By a head count of 110 to 69 residents present at town meeting in 2025 endorsed having a public discussion that this question invites. I'm asking the town to help establish some basic information before we have the discussion so that we have some common understanding of how we operate now and the basics of the situation as it now stands. The public discussion we have approved will benefit from this information. To that end, I asked the town to address the following questions and publish answers well ahead of town meeting day 2026, perhaps even in the town report if that works. How we got here, this is not the most substantive question, but I get this, I should just stop for a second and say, this is the product talking to people about the police for a decade. And so one of the first questions I always get is, how did we get here? So I just want to know, do you think it's fair to say that we face this question now because as a thorny issue of taxation, it was left unresolved when the town and village merged years ago? Try to reduce that to a sort of simple yes or no. These other questions are maybe more important though. How many taxable properties are in the police district? How many taxable properties are outside the police district? Who pays what? Let's get a baseline figure for comparison. For every $100,000 in tax assessed value, how much does the property owner pay annually based on 2024 for the Bristol Police Department if the property is in the police district versus if the property is out of the police district? Those should be basic numbers that we found this conversation on. Total police department expenditures in 24, total revenue in 24, and the sources of that revenue broken down. There's question marks after federal and other, because I don't know. I don't think there's any federal money, but you never know. What percent of the Bristol Police Department 2024 budget was paid by the additional tax on police district residents? I'm just trying to get a sense of what the total percentage of all the revenue those of us in the district pay as a percentage of the overall cost. I'm interested in the cost per man hour to field the department in 2024. That's the total police district expenditures divided by the total man hours worked in that year. Will give us a sense of the cost to field the department on a day-to-day basis. State grants pay for BPD traffic patrols outside the district, yes or no? If so, total grants received in 24. How many man hours did the state grant cover? The town pays the police district for some work outside the district, yes or no? If yes, what the total 2024 amount is? What is the cost per hour paid by the town for this work? The school district pays the police district for work at Mount Abe, which is outside the district, yes or no? If yes, what is the total amount? What is the cost per hour paid by the school district for this work? What is the estimate to build a new Bristol Police Department headquarters? Leave an estimate's out there. If Bristol borrows the money to build a new police station, who will pay the bill? Only police district taxpayers? All Bristol taxpayers. If it comes to a vote on borrowing money to build a new police station, who gets to vote on that question? Only police district voters or all district or all Bristol voters? If for whatever reason, police district voters decided to reduce the police force to a single unarmed peace officer, could they do so with a majority vote of police district voters? Yes or no? If for whatever reason, police district voters decided to charge $1,000 an hour for out of district service, could they do so with a majority of police district voters? Yes or no? If for whatever reason, residents of the police district wanted to dissolve the police district, could they do so with a majority vote of police district voters? Yes or no? Bristol Police Department participates in mutual aid, leaving the district to help police departments in surrounding towns and state police as possible in events of serious crime or emergency. Yes, is the answer to that one, but I don't know if everybody knows that. In the event of a serious crime or emergency within Bristol, but outside the police district, Bristol Police responds as possible, yes or no. The public discussion is really upon us now. Please prime the pump with some basic information here at the start. And I respectfully submit this with the request that this written statement be attached to the minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything? Okay, the
John,
only thing-
can you send me a copy of that, please?
I'll email it to you, that's okay.
Thank you.
I just have just one comment, the very first line, John,
Yeah, which one?
On the first page?
on the very
First
first page, the top of the line. At the town meeting in 2026, there will be a one question. That's your statement and not the board's. Okay, that's from
Well, it
you.
was voted on. Yes, all of this is mine, not the board's.
Yes, I
Yeah,
just wanted-
just to make clear, everything on here is mine.
I'd just like to insert the word will.
Yeah,
Will there be?
no, I think
Yes
there
or
is.
no?
There is one. It was voted at 2025 by a vote of 110 to 69. People passed the
Yeah.
fact that there will be a warrant question on ballot. So here we are. And the discussion really ought to be happening now, I think, in advance of that, rather than on the night that we get together and talk about it, we're just establishing some of these basic facts. So I'd love to get ahead of that. As somebody who's been interested in this issue for at least a decade.
We had a student intern who started collecting information for us this summer. So both from Chief Nason and from the Vermont State Police. So we have some of the information collected, but it's really helpful to see this list of other questions too. So
Yeah.
thank you.
And some of this information is in the budget, the police budget anyway.
Yes, and I think what I'm at, and I know the answer to
Right,
some of these questions, but I think it'd be helpful, like, in sort of one place. These, and I'm sure you guys can come up with other questions, but whatever the questions are, let's put all the answers in one place. People can read that before they attend a public meeting and start asking basic questions. What did we pay? What do they, where don't they go? These are things we can establish ahead of time. And since we've talked about this for so long, let's do that.
Mhm.
And then we'll have a better discussion. That's all.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, I like the questions.
The only thing I would like to do, for people who don't know, Jimmy Quaglino passed away Friday after Thanksgiving. And so we'd like to extend our condolences to the family. They had a service for him last Wednesday, but he's been a fixture. And I like, not just the select board meeting, but like all the
Anything like
town
that.
committee meetings and even through COVID. So he was a fixture and we're gonna miss him. So.
Yes,
Okay.
he was a very dedicated individual. He attended almost every meeting of all of our committees, which is incredibly impressive. He spent the time and took the time to do that, and he will be sadly missed. It was nice to have his opinions, and it was nice that he actually attended these meetings and wanted to know what was going on in his town.
Yep. Okay, department head roundtable. Is Eric out and around?
No, he's got something else going on tonight, but DPW has been working with VOSHA to
Mhm.
bring us up to standard and finding areas that we can improve on. And additionally, they've just been out plowing
Oh,
and
yeah.
starting the season getting going. So
Bruce?
Are you all done?
No. No, Ian's on it.
Oh,
Go
John.
ahead, Bruce.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay, I can't start my camera, so. So far this year, our calls for service are at 3,800. That's a little bit ahead of what we did all of last year. We continue to stay busy with the snow. People are slowing down, but we still have a few cars that are sliding around. But that's about it. Just keep plugging along.
Bruce, how did the film shoot go? Do you have any feedback for that?
Well, nobody contacted me and they closed the street without signs and without assistance. So I don't know where the communication breakdown was, but that did not go as you instructed. And that increased our liability, unfortunately, but nothing.
That's a shame.
Nothing
I
that
made
happened that
absolutely
I know of.
certain. Yeah, I made absolutely certain that he was told to contact you multiple times, and obviously didn't. That's a shame, but
Yeah,
I'm
and
glad. I'm glad nothing unforeseen happened.
yeah, I think there were a couple of people that were upset that called afterwards because there was a vehicle blocking the roadway and they had no idea what was going on, and then they were yelled at when they tried to go around it. But you know, that's something we can discuss on before you approve something. The next time, we'll make sure that all of these communications are done ahead of time.
Wow. Is that it, Bruce?
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, Peter, you're taking over.
Taking over, all right.
I
Fire,
forgot
correct?
what
Are
it
you?
Kevin's
Kevin's
on.
on.
Okay.
Kevin's on, I think, for the sidewalk.
Okay.
Oh.
No,
Alright.
doesn't look like,
Water and sewer, Jill.
no, she's not on either.
There's on vacation.
Ah.
Guess we won't get
Even
her.
water operators are. in
Well, that'd be quick.
All right,
Water through one really quick. I don't need a response right here, but the light down there at the pump house flashes all night long. Not always, sometimes it's steady the way it should be, but for like 5 years, this thing.
5 years?
Yeah. I've stopped asking because I got so tired of asking, but we bumped into GMP because it's their light.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know what the town can do, but you know, that's visible from the whole bank. All of us who look that way all night for 6 months a year when the leaves are down, we see this thing going up all night.
What light is it?
It's a
Street
street
light?
light that's
It's a street
above
light.
the house, just on the full, you know, standard
For dead
street.
end.
It's GMPs, it's not states.
Is the.
I asked.
If it's down there, all the
department, and they said it's
GMP.
requiring and it's GMP's light, but if there's anything you guys
it's
can,
GMP's light, but we pay for it.
how does that work?
We can put.
We pay for, we pay
We
for
pay
every
for
street light. We pay for
street
every
light.
street light.
So we'll get a.
rate when it blinks like
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should get a,
That's
for
It's a flat rate.
We
the
can get
last
a
5 years.
I feel
We can get a
brainwashed. when
poll
that-
number and call it in.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a simple fix.
I hope so, it's been like seriously, like COVID time.
Is it on any sort of tower or anything?
It's on our standard.
It's a
street
standard
pole.
street light.
You can see it.
It's fluorescent,
It's
right?
right next, right above the pump. There's a pole right there.
Not the new LED. I don't know what
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
All right, so probably they'll change it out at the same time, which would be better.
Resignation.
Okay. All right, and you did that as 5.
5B.
D.
Gotta get that going the right way. All right, for consent agenda, consider approval of listers errors and omissions. Approval of past minutes for 11/24/25. Authorization of warrants and liquor inspector license. And resignation from the fire department of Tim O'Toole.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. So any questions on the consideration of errors and omissions?
Just for the warrants, for the public, it's 3 million.
We ain't got there yet. Hang on.
And emissions.
Errors and omissions.
Oh,
I go
sorry.
down through them one at a time.
Sorry,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's okay.
No, but apparently there were a lot that were put in police district that shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Because that's what they all were pretty much,
Yeah.
except for 2.
All right, meeting minutes, you've given
Yeah, they're
your,
all good.
okay. Authorization of warrant. Now you can go, Joel.
The warrant is, hang on to your seat, $3,207,856.54.
And how much of that is the schools? Can you tell us?
2
that?
million.
2.9 million of it is half the,
And that's only,
that's half the school district. Sharon, I did see that you paid most of the appropriation.
And then,
We need to find just the town clerk.
I thought it was back in April.
no, we have to sign select board.
Cause they
Oh,
were
okay, I
approved
think
in
so.
March, so.
Yeah,
Went out to the-
We have to sign this errors and omissions, right?
Yes.
You know, that's-
and then, resignation of Tim O'Toole. Yeah, no questions.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
service.
Tim, for your service.
Thank you,
I talked with him this morning at 5:30, so it was just busy, he just didn't have time yesterday.
Okay.
Alrighty, all those in favor of approving consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. motion carried. Jessica, I don't hear you any louder here than I do when you're on Zoom. Regular business, West Street Sidewalk Scoping Project, draft alternatives, presentation. VHB and AZ, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Hello.
Howdy.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I have a new job.
Oh, it wasn't a vacation.
No, my VHB counterparts have not reached out to me, have not communicated with me. I don't know where they are. They were supposed to be here at 5:30. We're gonna move forward. I can give a brief overview from my understanding of the alternatives. But I'll be reaching out to them to reschedule the full alternatives presentation. So. Depending on how the select board like to move forward, we can either reschedule fully, or I can give you a rundown from.
Let's just reschedule for you.
Agreed.
Not your job.
Tell them we're docking their pay.
I do know Kevin's on. It's on for that, if they go by their office.
Hey, tell them we're docking their pay. We're not paying that bill because they didn't show up tonight. Kevin, I think you're off the hook if you want to go.
Maybe he wants to learn about town business.
All right, we're moving on.
Okay.
Meet and greet interview with pub candidate. Dylan Burnham.
Job.
Hello, I'm not Dylan. No, this is Dylan Turner.
Dylan.
So, as it's well established, I'm leaving in January.
Wait, what?
I know. Have some babies,
More babies.
more babies.
Babies, not
Ba-
baby.
Babies.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It's always really funny at the hub these days when kids are like, wait, you're pregnant? I'm like, yes, guys, it's a lot. At this point, come on. But I had the absolute pleasure. So we, went through the process of posting the job and received a really wonderfully qualified group of applications, and then had the pleasure of interviewing a handful. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dylan Werner. That Meredith and I were very, very excited to get the opportunity to interview with him, and feel incredibly enthusiastic about his capabilities and taking over the responsibilities at the hub and continuing moving forward.
Awesome.
Greetings, everybody.
Man, how you doing?
Doing really well.
Nice to have you.
Really excited
Good
to
evening.
be.
Great.
Mhm.
Could
So-
we hear a little bit about your vision?
Well, first off, I'm very excited to be the steward of such an awesome space and an awesome program. Really, I'm charged with the idea of carrying on a third place for our teens in this area. I've been in this town now for 8 years and grown with it. My children have grown up here and are now going to be utilizing the hub. So I'm very excited to bring them, their friends, and everyone else who comes through that space a bold set of programs based in the arts. I have a very strong arts background with illustration and cartooning and painting and jewelry and metalsmithing. I've been cooking for the last 5 years at Bobcat and have that ability to pass those bits of knowledge on to our kids as well. I look forward to creating food security and having a space where kids can always have a snack and always get a little bit of something that they need. And keeping a keen eye on them too, as their friend, mentor, and hopefully a bit of a leader. And I look forward to growing the skate park and getting this buttoned up and things figured out so that we can have a good concrete skate park here in our town. I've worked in multiple skate parks in Portland, Maine. I helped put one in Manchester, Vermont, and actually 2 in Manchester, Vermont. And I would like to, continue that effort here with my knowledge base. And as we move forward, like I see myself very much being here for years to come. And I hope that you guys will accept me as being your new hub director.
Great. Those ideas sound exciting.
You found him?
Yeah, one in the street.
Uh-oh, you might want to text Kevin and let him know we're back on.
I also have ideas definitely for adventure. We have such a great ecosystem around us, but with the trails, the rivers, I'm a fly fishing guide and love teaching beginner fly fishing and fly tying, integrating these natural spaces. I think that as much as we can get off of computers and
Yeah.
those spaces and back into an analog, it's all just healthier for everybody. Yeah, do you have any
Are you
questions?
gonna keep your job at the Bobcat? You're gonna be able to do both?
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
My sole focus is this now.
I was gonna say, because you're gonna be busy.
Yeah, I plan to be very busy,
Mhm.
and pick up everything. I mean, it's a lot to pick up, a
Mhm.
lot to learn, but I'm ready to dive right in.
Mhm.
That's exciting.
Very good.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah. Could you tell me, like, very briefly, like, the first year of like success would look like for you as the director of the team?
The first year of success
Yeah.
would definitely be securing and maintaining funding for the programs that are essential to making sure that the hub functions in its base purpose,
Yeah.
which is being that third place for after school activities, for social events and togetherness. I want to make sure that the food funding is essentially there and always provided. My first year, I want to make sure that the established programs work and function as they are, but I really would love to expand on the art side of things.
Sure.
I find that moving meditation is just good for the overwhelming amount of information that we consume in our days. And if I can hand that off to some kids, I'd be pretty happy about that. I would like to work and integrate with the town for downtown programs and events that we have, getting the students involved, potentially in helping raise that bar for, I mean, we already have amazing events, but
Are you speaking to like volunteerism?
yeah, volunteerism. And we also have a lot of adults in our community, I think, that have strengths as mentors. And I know that we already have an established mentor program, both through the high school and through ELP. But I do feel that there's a great deal of power in hooking up a kid with someone in their town that has an interest similar. Maybe they're into woodworking and they need to meet with a woodworker or a blacksmith. But that one-on-one can really drive a kid to succeed, and have that output and input, vice versa, that can give them strength and power in their days and confidence in their person. And I would love to do more to embolden that because it was big for me.
Gotta have the right tools for the job,
You
right?
do, you do. You gotta learn how to use them too.
It's like besides buying some mountain bikes, I might have to buy some fly rods.
We could do that.
There are probably grants out there for that.
Yeah.
And do you have experience with applying for grants and managing grants?
I've worked alongside producing grants.
Mhm.
I have not actually written grants,
Mhm.
but I'm very open to not only learning, but going through any schooling or process that would help us with that.
Yeah, that's because Taylor's been really good at
I
that.
know,
So
I know.
there's some big shoes to fill.
I know, I'm slightly intimidated, but also incredibly excited for the new opportunity and challenge that it presents.
Yeah.
This is the first time you've seen the job posted because, I mean, you've been here 8 years. We've had people, it's come up before, so I'm just curious why now you decide.
Well, I mean, that's a deep conversation to have. But in all reality, life moves us at times into quieter spaces, whether it's through loss, impact, trauma, whatever. And in the last 8 years, I've been in a quiet space. I've been trying to find my voice within the community. I was very much a part of Portland, Maine's community when I was there for 18 years in the music and the arts, promoting local events. It was big to my person. I raised money for a lot of established programs there, and I would love to do that here. But I feel when we come into a town, it wasn't my place right away to impose my thoughts and my outside feelings. This is Vermont. We're Vermonters. We accept, we embrace each other, but I also feel that there's an established order within the town. And I wanted to get to know it. I wanted to get to know our cast of characters and who we are. And in seeing my kids grow here and seeing their friendships become emboldened and flourish through these programs that are here. I want nothing more than to be a part of that. Because we have a growing community, and this is a great opportunity right now. Plus 5 years of cooking at Bobcat. I love them dearly, and they've been so good. Aaron and Sandy, and even the new owners, Chris and John, they've been really, really gracious, and it's been such a good bridge to this moment in life. And I'm very excited to be here. Yeah.
Great.
So.
You know, I mean,
I'm good.
Yeah. Awesome,
Cool.
great.
thanks.
Thanks for the
Thank you so
introduction.
I think that's a welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
When you start.
I start on January 5th, and I will be kind of tapering in through the month, learning the systems and learning everything that Taylor does.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks will be
It's gonna take
part-time.
a long-
Well,
Is she staying a year?
yeah.
She does?
I'm also just gonna be down the road at the end of the day. I'm just gonna have my hands full. But I work, so Dylan will be coming on part-time for the first 2 weeks, and I'm leaving. And he will be here.
It's gonna take you more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I think
I hope you have a to-do list every day that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell him that. Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell him
It's
that.
gonna be, I think we're gonna try to do a brain dump, and I've been, working on trying to do a brain dump since, having the privilege of knowing I was leaving with enough time and trying to download everything, but I also feel incredibly confident that Dylan has the
Ability to deal with surprise.
The ability so the most essential skills that are so hard to teach and so hard to dump, which is an intuitive understanding of the space and a way the approach that we've had to engaging with the teens and creating a safe space and a third space that's so highly valued by the community. And everything else is he can figure it out or redo it himself or learn everything. Everything else is trainable, but that skill is so essential and so important, which is why I think Meredith and I are so incredibly excited for him to take over. I think that's gonna be really
Great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys so much.
Thank you.
Just so we're official, let's do a motion on it.
Well, we make a motion to hire.
Yes, we've always done it in the past, and just so we have it as a record, because it's nice to have it in the minutes as opposed to a consensus or something like that.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we hire Dylan Werner as the hub director.
Second.
You're too late. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Now.
Okay, now.
At least you got no names.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Good luck.
And good luck to you.
Good, yes. Good luck, Taylor.
All right, back to 6A,
Back to
West
6A, right?
West Street Sidewalk Scoping Project. Alternatives presentation by VHB and AZ. Planning and Zoning.
Apologies for the hold up, everybody, but I'm glad you were still around and I caught you.
You found us.
Kevin, thanks for coming back.
No, Easy called me right away, just out of
Okay.
miscommunication on our end about the time.
Okay.
But we're here now, and I think a lot of you are here for our first meeting, so have a little bit of background. Let me see. I'm gonna just sent a request to share screen. I don't know who's managing.
Ian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying now, so I have some slides, similar to last time. Yeah, so we'll get right into it. So as you probably already know, this is the. Yes, I just catch up. There it goes. West Street Sidewalk Scoping Study, and this is our draft alternatives presentation. So we're gonna be going over just what we've put together so far about what some of the solutions might look like. So just gonna go through the overview again. This is our study area, the south side of West Street between the Creamy Stand and Holly Hall. It's very nice to be here in person this time. But so a lot of existing sidewalk there, but also some things that we can improve upon. I think we've been over this before, but just to touch on it again, the purpose of this scoping study is to, after establishing our purpose and needs statement, which we'll go over in a little bit, identify and evaluate some different alternatives for how to address those needs. This public engagement process, we use to select a preferred alternative, which we then let's see if I can, which we will then develop into a final scoping report to present to the select board for approval. So going over these again, these are some of the issues that we've seen with the existing sidewalk that we're looking to address with this study. Some disjointed areas, some areas of disrepair, and most importantly, just some big gaps in the existing sidewalks to some pretty key locations. So the purpose is to eventually get to a continuous and accessible sidewalk that will improve safety and connectivity around all of those key destinations that are on West Street between the downtown village center and, most importantly, the Creamy Stand. So just as a bit of an overview, we put together 3 alternatives. And we have A, B, and C. A is starting with sort of the minimalist approach. We know that, it's pretty cost conscious. So this is sort of just looking at the simplest way that we can make those new connections while also retaining as much of the existing sidewalk as possible. So we're not necessarily replacing where we don't need to, but we are getting in those necessary connections. So this is sort of the first area that we're looking at. I know at my last meeting, this crosswalk came up, that there's this big tree over here that's kind of blocking the visibility. And it doesn't necessarily feel safe. And there's also just the issue of it doesn't really end anywhere on the south side. There's no sidewalk there. There's no ramp. It kind of just goes into this parcel here. So one of the solutions we were thinking about is just moving it over to the other side. Just get rid of the ramp on this side, paint a new crosswalk here. There's only little trees on this side, so visibility would not be an issue. And connect to a new ramp and a new 5-foot sidewalk that we would be continuing from the end of this sidewalk over here. Just through these 2 parcels and connecting to this sort of existing sort of gravel path that goes behind the parking lot of the Creamy Stand.
Wasn't there concern about that driveway there being a horseshoe shape?
Yes, so something that this alternative would necessitate is sort of getting rid of that one leg of the driveway, consolidating it into a single entrance. Hopefully this parcel would still have plenty of space. But as far as we can tell, the right of way has been a little convoluted. We've seen some different lines between, the parcel viewer that V-Trans has and some of the deeds that we've seen just having different markers. So it might depend what we can do within the right of way or outside of the right of way, working with this property owner. But yeah, if they would be amenable to consolidating to a single entrance, this is where that ramp would go.
How far off the house is that proposed sidewalk?
This
It
is
looks
pretty
awfully
close.
close.
It is
Yeah.
quite close, yes. And so the benefit of this alternative is just partly maintaining that straight line. But also there's a line of trees here that we would want to avoid if possible, that, presumably the property owner wants to maintain. But also just generally, it's nice to maintain trees where possible. There's some utility poles in here. So there is an option that we'll look at that goes on the other side of these trees, would have a little bit of utility impacts, just having to move some poles around, but this is just one of the options. But yes, it is quite close to this house, which is further up than most of the other houses, so that's something to consider. This is the sort of midsection of our study area. And for all of these, of course, we're just retaining this north side sidewalk. That's just sort of there to show what the whole network looks like. But through here, there is already existing sidewalk. It's only 4 feet wide, which does meet the required minimum for PROAG and ADA standards, but is not the recommended minimum, which is 5 feet.
Isn't there's sections of that area that are pretty bad.
Yes, so we would be maintaining where we can, we wouldn't be widening or, realigning it, but probably, going in and fixing those areas where it is, damaged and not really usable. But again, kind of keeping it to the bare minimum for this alternative as much as possible. The one area where we would be realigning it is this little connection right here. You know, you have the existing sidewalk here and this piece just kind of comes up at a weird angle that's, you know, not very conducive to crossing this driveway. So that's the one area where we would be looking at actually just removing that little short spit of sidewalk and realigning it. And so this is the first alternative that we looked at for the gas station. This
Can we
would,
go, you went from
Yes.
Haldway, I can't,
yes,
I think it's
I was
moving back.
going from west to east, so you skipped from in front of the bank, you went from Howden Hall.
No, she didn't. That was the last one.
Mhm.
yeah, community bank.
It's kind of, well, community bank,
But we went from Howden Hall down to,
Yeah, but it ends right there where the screen ends, is
Right.
where the.
where community bank is right there to the left, and I
I
think.
know we're gonna read, I
Yeah, but
thank people.
no, but I mean, I think that's where the other one ended, was
Yeah.
right.
But I
on
wanted
that
to talk
side.
about that.
Oh,
Yes. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
You can't
because
see it.
community bank, yeah, it's behind a,
Close the gallery.
you make it speaker only or something or other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There.
So you
Perfect.
stayed in that and lined that up, stayed where that is now? 'Cause that moved in quite a, that presently is quite a ways in.
Yeah, so that would be staying where it is and then just realigning this little section to kind of connect these two
Okay.
where they are. But otherwise maintaining it in front of Haddon Hall and in front of the bank. Okay. And then over at the east end, again, maintaining this existing sidewalk through here. Putting some new sidewalk in here. This section, there's sort of not a true sidewalk, but kind of just a path that's flush with the pavement. So putting in a new curved raised sidewalk there. That will connect, you know, with these ramps here. And then one thing that we were looking at as an option here, this is also outside of the existing right of way, so this would need buy-in from the owners of the Champlain Farms parcel. But this is looking at having a couple little runs on each side, so we can get to just going in front of the building. Because as you can see, you know, the natural path of the sidewalk would go right through the pumps, which is not ideal. So just looking at having a little run here and then, we show it as 6 feet wide. I know there were some concerns brought up at the last meeting about, you know, having some extra space in front of those doors, just where people tend to be, you know, walking around, hanging out. So there is potential to make that section a little bit wider. But that was one of the options we were looking at, trying to just maintain, you know, the flow of traffic around the pumps. And these sections, you know, where it's cutting through the driveway would be flush with, you know, just the pavement of the road. So, you know, there would still be access to the full driveway, but a clear path for pedestrians to follow that's, you know, obvious to drivers as well. And
Is
then,
there room enough there with 6 foot? Is there still room enough? There's room for another car there.
yeah,
Beside the-
there would still be room for cars to get through here, be a little bit tighter, but yeah, plenty of room for somebody to park alongside the pump. Oops.
I'm gonna ask,
Mhm.
put Sharon a little bit on the spot, or Chris, wish Chris was here. When you leave to go to from this office in the morning to go to the post office or the afternoon, do you walk up by the building, and walk back in the middle of summer, or you walk right straight across?
No, I walk along the building.
You do?
Me too.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
Most people
feels
just walk
safer.
right straight across. And I'd like to see that.
Cause it's sometimes, especially in the winter time, it's.
Well, that's why I said summer months. Do you walk just straight right across?
I might sometimes, but for the most part, I usually just follow the sidewalk.
Yeah, I don't trust the people coming in off the road.
Yeah. Now,
I know.
those big trucks that come rolling in there too,
Yeah.
especially in the morning to drop stuff off, they're gonna drive on that sidewalk if it's out there.
Mhm.
Cause that's where they unload and,
Or if you're walking outside and then somebody comes out the door. Whoa,
yeah.
right there.
No, yeah, you just have to kind of.
Well, they hang out there and smoke.
Yes.
Yeah, how is it any different than walking down Main Street if somebody walks out the door?
Right.
I mean, that part of it I don't see as a problem.
Well, the doors aren't that close in
Yeah.
the sidewalk. I mean, this would be right in the sidewalk.
But the sidewalk's 6 feet wide is what they're proposing,
Yeah.
so there's room.
Mhm.
And then Champlain Farms would have to buy in.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hopefully, since their pumps are in the right of way, they might be a little bit more amenable to us using some of their,
You don't
Their
have to
parcel,
move
but-
those.
yeah.
Well,
We'll let you
if-
off this time,
if-
right?
Could they? They couldn't even move them.
I don't think so.
We did not propose that in any of our.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking out loud, like, I don't think they can
Those have
even.
been there longer than any of us.
Yeah.
Or zoning.
If they ever
Still
replace
doesn't
their,
mean they can be in the right of way.
if they ever decide to replace their tanks, that might be a discussion.
They already did.
Yeah.
They did, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, that
More
was
zoning.
Was it 20 years ago?
That's because it was before I was on the board.
Mm, I remember them doing it, I can't tell you.
If it was 20 years ago, there's nothing I can do about it. It's
That's
outside statute of limitations. That's also state.
But the
but
tanks
it-
aren't out in the right of way, the tanks are back in the area between the building and the
Post office.
post office.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, so our next alternative has those same connections, that we're, looking to achieve, and we'd also be doing some. Not really much more realigning of the existing sidewalk, but widening it to 5 feet, so utilizing what's already there, again, replacing the areas that are damaged, and just adding another foot, towards the road so that it meets those 5 feet preferred minimums. So this alternative, goes on the north side of the trees, so it's, further from this building, a bit closer to the road, but still maintains, a few feet of green belt, between the sidewalk and the road. And again, just cutting down, trying to avoid this tree, but making its way down again, to this sort of path behind the creamy stand parking. And for this alternative, we were also looking at, keeping the crosswalk where it is currently, but tightening up this radius a little bit into this turn. So we would be extending the ramp beyond this tree so it's more visible, and making that a bit of a tighter turn so people can't, take that quite as fast.
Well, I have a question about that tree anyway.
Mhm.
I mean, okay, I was there the other night, stopped at Maple Street, couldn't see looking to the east because I'm behind crosswalk.
Mm.
And then I pulled up to see, and then cars were coming. And then people were coming from the mobile or Irving and wanted to, and I'm over the crosswalk, and they're looking at me like, okay. But I stopped first and then I couldn't see around. I'm gonna ask the board, should that tree come down?
I think that one of those trees isn't very healthy and Cecil had actually talked about taking it down
Did he?
or having, remember when he was gonna do the solar panels on his
Yep.
roof, he came to us and asked if he could take them down. And I think that one is not healthy. One of the three there is not healthy. But yeah, if it's not healthy and I would say that taking it down might be an option.
Why don't we have,
Alright,
why don't we
Let
have
John look at it.
John look at it? Yeah.
Till soon.
Mhm.
Because I was so called in the right at the beginning, because I stopped behind the bar, couldn't see, and I moved up. Then the cars started coming, I couldn't go anywhere, and then people wanted to cross the crosswalk, and I'm in the crosswalk with my vehicle. Well, I'm in the wrong now, but I can't back up, there's a car behind me.
Yeah, so that's definitely another solution would be just, taking that tree out, which could be done, along with any of these other alternatives, even if we did want to move it over to this side still, or, adjust this radius, taking the tree out would still, help with that issue in either case. But yeah, through this section, again, taking the existing 4 foot, widening it an extra foot. We'd be doing that same realignment that we proposed in the previous alternative, just to connect these two sections a little bit better. And again, formalizing this sidewalk, adding a curb, raising it up. And then we're showing in this one the same alternative here. But yeah, so that's our sort of medium amount of work alternative, medium cost and construction time and effort. So the third one is where we went all out, realigned as much as possible to kind of make it a straight shot, get rid of some of those diagonal jogs that it has currently. Here we're proposing the same alignment that we had in alternative A, going pretty close to the house just to maintain this straightaway. And here we're showing just completely removing the existing 4 foot sidewalk that's We think somewhat outside of right of way, probably has an easement if it's there now, but moving all of the sidewalk into the right of way, widening and straightening it out, and again, connecting to this path back
Can I
here.
ask a question?
Yes,
The apartment house that's right over, way over to the right there, I think that's the one, it may be on the next screen,
Mhm.
where they park their cars right there, and it's usually over the
This
sidewalk.
one.
Yeah, I don't know, remember now which one it is,
Yeah.
but one of
I know
them, they
this
park,
It's that
shows
is it that one? Yeah.
with this, yeah, this
Yeah.
blank patch, so.
So what's gonna happen with them if you put in green space because they don't have parking for, for their 4 or 5 cars that they have parked there?
Yeah, so that is, I mean, as far as we can tell, this area is all within the right of way.
Right,
So, theoretically, that would be on them to
Yeah.
figure out what their parking situation is.
yeah, fun times for them.
It is a fairly wide roadway, you know, you have a good bit of shoulder. I'm
How
not
much
sure
green space
exactly.
is there presently right there, that we're looking out on the street?
That is a good question. I'm not sure. I would say at least, you know, maybe 8 feet there. But pretty wide, you know, an extra 5 feet, so they might still have room to get some cars in there. But yeah, we're basically saying that would be their problem.
Well, to be Michelle's question, if you move that to maybe a 3 foot or a 4 foot green space,
Mhm.
would that then give them some room?
Yeah, there would definitely be ways to
Push that
maintain that
side.
space if you wanted to. But again, at that point, we might be pushing into their right of way area. But again, if the sidewalk is
No,
already.
going-
No, he's going
Going
the other
towards the front
way,
of the road.
the
Oh,
north,
going
north
further from
side.
the
Instead of
road.
Make the
8
green
foot
space shorter
maybe
that
a
way.
4 foot green space.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
I know you wanna realign it so it's straight. What is the downfall to having the jogs?
Just basically comfort,
Mhm.
you know, it's, just more comfortable to walk in a straight line, and especially if you're, you know, rolling or pushing a stroller or something. Easier just to negotiate a straight line.
I don't know, I've been, remember nights walking home from the bar and.
You don't have time for those.
Wouldn't have mattered if the sidewalk was straight or not.
Yeah, not always easier.
So you're saying it, right where that, where the jog is right there by Howden Hall.
Mhm.
If that was pushed from there to the creamy stand out, let's say, give it a 4 foot green space.
Mhm.
Just that curve right there would be a little more angle, be
Yeah,
a straight line all the way down through.
yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Again, you know.
There'd be an angle down on the far end too, I think,
At the creamy stand.
by the creamy stand,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and you need to, you know, kind of work your way around or through some of these trees and utility poles, but. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an option to push it even further out, you know, have it come along this side of the trees. And let's just, yeah, have more of a straight shot that's up here and then just a bit of a longer diagonal here. That's definitely an option.
So if we do, I'm just thinking out
Yeah.
loud here, if we go with this route and they park on the sidewalk, what's the ramification for them? I mean, do they get ticketed?
Park on sidewalk?
Yeah, because the apartment
If it's
house, the
still
apartment house
just
is right
parking where they
there.
were
Right now, they
parking.
pull in perpendicular and they park over the sidewalk. I mean, there's technically no sidewalk there right now, but
Oh, there's sidewalk.
Oh, the sidewalk,
yeah,
all the way to the.
yeah, I guess that's right.
Green
But they
stripe
park on the
is.
sidewalk.
I don't know, we'll have to figure out.
Yeah. Mhm.
So.
We, sorry, Greg, but we never have.
Yeah, it's all right,
Mm.
we'll figure it out.
I don't know,
We have.
I plowed the sidewalk
That
3
was on-
times last week and there was nobody parked on it down through there, so.
Yeah. I don't
Time
think
did
it's
you
allowed
plow
in
the
the winter.
sidewalk?
It's not allowed in the winter, correct?
Well, it's not allowed in the summer either.
Mhm.
Cause
Whoa.
we fought with Almost Home with the vehicles being too long and parked out on the sidewalk and we've sent them notice and then.
I think we straightened that out.
I think we did a little bit of enforcement there and that solved the problem.
Mhm. Yeah, we've just never done anything with this one.
I know that was something that got brought up for
Right.
this little section of parking, so, you know, where there is this formal parking, that's something we tried to address by. Adding this 4 foot green strip, between the sidewalk and the parking.
And you've changed the parking to well,
Yeah,
I think
this-
you added one there or did not?
This here is the same configuration.
Okay, and it's the one in front of the bank,
spaces.
you've added spaces.
These ones, yeah, because further
'Cause
here, we're taking some of these parallel spaces, so. Because it is such a wide road in this
Yeah.
area, you know, you have the room to bump this out a little further
Yeah.
to maintain that. that length you need and the
Mhm.
shoulder, but adding that space so that
Yeah.
even if people are pulled way up, with, the hood of their truck
What-
overhanging a bit, it won't be on the sidewalk.
From the bank do for the,
What's Bruce saying, always sees to everyone.
there is a bus stop there in front of the bank right now.
Bruce says we enforce no parking on sidewalks all year.
We don't, or we do?
We don't.
No, we do.
Yeah, I thought you said we don't.
Yeah, no, there's no parking on the sidewalk. It's because it's the sidewalk.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
So you're saying in front of the bank alongside that parallel parking there?
There is a bus stop there.
Well, the
There
tri-town
is.
bus, the stop in the road, probably if there's cars parked there.
I see it every morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if there are people parked there anyway, if
They're
the
not-
people are parked,
The
When
ones-
they stop, but I don't know.
I don't think there's there's a spot there that says bus parking only.
there's not a sign there.
There's a sign, but it's just there isn't a bus only space. It's just 2 parking spaces, and the bus just pulls in and picks people up at the stop. I like this idea of the perpendicular parking, perpendicular parking. But we would have to talk to Tri-Valley about how that might affect their bus route. But I would support this because it gives us far more parking spaces. It also doesn't make the road as wide, which means people are going to be going slower.
I don't see how it would affect their bus stop, Ian, because people can already park there.
Yeah, they
Right.
just park.
Yeah,
So if they-
I mean, if they're pulling over and they're pulling parallel to a car, they're a little bit closer to the sidewalk versus here where they'd be right out in the middle of the road. But they could also pull in, right before that community bank entrance, right after Howden Hall, and be able to pick up people right there and move on. And it's going to be so quick in terms of pickups. You're right, Peter. I don't think it's going to affect, even if we change the parking to this direction.
Could see if they could move the pickup location to be a little bit closer to in front of Howden Hall where there's less. Traffic.
Well, and sometimes I see them picking up people on the other side of the road.
Yeah, they do in front of the
Yeah.
church over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are two different routes.
There's a stop.
When you come off from Park Street and go west, they pull in front of the church.
Okay.
Correct.
So,
Six more parking spaces
Mhm.
would be,
so you narrowed up that,
It's only 3 more. Cause there's already 3 there.
oh, okay.
There's 3 there, so it's 3.
so
But there's more in front of the.
you've taken a lot of that green space.
That they've got,
out
too.
And this shop.
Correct.
So, the existing line of the curb, but yeah, replacing the sidewalk would be moving
So the sidewalk's gonna be moved closer to the bank or further away from the bank?
a little bit further away from the bank.
For a guy who plowed that yard for 25 years, I don't believe you're gonna do diagonal parking there. They're gonna stick out in the road.
Mhm.
I think they're gonna stick out in the road, personally.
Yeah. if you-
Why would it
if
be
you
any
don't-
different than the other
you
side
don't
of the
pull
road?
Curb in.
If you don't pull that curb in
Mm.
towards that road, you look like let's go back to another screen. You look like you've got a lot of green space between that sidewalk and that curb. Right there,
Those are, yeah.
you see?
Mhm.
See, there's what it looks like now.
Mhm.
And narrowed it up some, not a lot, but there's quite a lot of green space between, there's probably 12 feet of, right now, that sidewalk and that. curb.
Yeah, I wonder how much that we own.
That's true, Peter, I don't know.
Yeah, that is, we could move the curb, but of course there would just be,
Less green space.
less green space and the added cost of, redoing an entire curb as opposed to just repainting lines.
Yeah, I don't know that there's enough space there to park cars that way and without them sticking out in the road. It certainly would slow traffic down, Ian.
Turn them.
Diagonal, like,
Yeah.
kinda like on
Yeah.
Main Street.
Just do
5 instead of 6 or whatever.
Did you hear that? What Chris said?
Gee,
To angle parking and then you would lose one spot, but then it would.
Just angle cover from the west.
It'll make pulling in easier. I
Yeah,
mean, that's a hard
Right.
turn into off a busy street, so the fourth angle parking might make more sense right there.
Honestly, we should angle park in front of the town green as well, cause that's a nightmare getting out of there.
that's good to know.
Like,
The point
so
of favor
I
of-
park at the town green and I have a mid-size pickup truck and a
Mhm.
full-size pickup truck.
With a bike rack.
I'm letting go and letting Jesus, cause I'm just getting out there first.
That's why I always back.
That's why I was back.
I think the angled, Chris's suggestion of angled is good. Like he says, you lose a spot, makes it safer, but it also matches Main Street, which has been angled for decades. That people seem to be okay with that.
Other than when they pull across the road in the opposite direction.
Yeah, well, that's what's
Well,
gonna
yeah.
happen. People eastbound who wanna park there.
Park there, are gonna,
Main Street already.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, that's what I
Well, Main
said.
Street's wider on this end. They don't
That's
do it
true.
down towards Snaps.
No.
Yeah, well, down towards Snaps, when a big truck parks there, it's a pain going around them.
Yeah. Well, I
When
bet.
you're on the side of the rain.
I got a theory on that. I don't think anybody.
All right, let's see your next one. I want to see what you've come up with for in front of the gas station.
Yeah, so this one, we would be moving the center line about 4 feet north here.
Oh.
And something to
Great.
mention is would also be 2 feet, so that would give us a little more room on this side.
No, that would.
But if there's issues with cars parked here that are, you know, maybe inching past the end of those marked lanes, then that might not be ideal. But we could, you know, do that angled parking and save a little space here. But yeah, so what we're looking at here is keeping it in the right of way, and just going on the other side of those pumps. So, you know, moving the center line a little bit further north so that there's just some more separation here. But after this bit of sidewalk here where the post office has this connection, just doing a jog through this, what's currently parallel parking here, taking out some of that, and just going straight through here, we'd have a bit of an island, kind of similar to how at the other gas station further west, there's sort of a partly curved sidewalk that's then flush. These areas would be flush, you know, to allow access through and around. And then this island just to harden it up a little bit and, you know, control the movements of cars a bit better. Make it a bit more obvious that this is, you know, a pedestrian walkway.
Instead of walking through the gas station.
Yes, so just kind of avoiding this parcel entirely, not sending people, you know, between the pumps and the building. And then we would be, instead of connecting here, be connecting up here, we'd be extending this curb a little bit. It's currently back here and then kind of bumps out, so we'd be pushing it out a little further, just to facilitate that straight through connection, as well as making this crosswalk a little bit shorter than it is now.
Is that island, I mean, I know you briefly mentioned that it's not gonna be a 6 or 8 inch or whatever, it's gonna be more like you can drive over it type of island.
The
For the
island would
trucks.
likely be
Raised like in front of Dad's,
be
Yeah.
she
raised.
said.
Mhm.
It, you know, it could be
The
mountable
side.
if there's concerns that you know, large trucks would need more room to get through here. We've done some turning movements and they can make it. But you
A
know,
lot of them
there's
just
the-
park across the road and.
And snow removal is gonna be a big thing there.
Mhm.
And also you have deliveries, a lot of the delivery trucks run parallel to the roadway where the island is now, that's
Mhm.
just because of backing into that parking lot, other than the gas guys, it's virtually impossible.
Mhm. So that could be mountable and just, you know, something that will appear more visible to drivers.
Could that be like, I know down by the post office or just where you go down to Printers Alley or Main Street where they did all the big dig. This over the train thing, they call it more of a cobble, raised cobble, and they drive over every time when I go down over Pinewood.
They do that with the turn,
Yeah, they did it.
turn in Middlebury,
So that
across
could be
street.
a kind of a cobble thing, so if you
Yeah.
ran over it, it's not gonna blow out a tire, but
Yeah.
you know, okay, I ran over there.
hmm Yeah, that's definitely an option, making this mountable.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to read the comments because we can't see them because we have the pictures down there.
Sure. Betsy Blair says, I find straight sidewalks less beautiful than ones with occasional curves that have lovely landscaping. Having very straight sidewalks is, as far as I can see, is most desirable for people who are looking at their cell phones as they push a baby carriage. I'm wondering how much tax money should be collected to support cell phone use. Thanks, Betsy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, having, you know, curves or, you know, these turns of a certain angle, you know, of course will still be accessible, but, generally straight is preferable. But that one is not, you know,
Well,
That's
this one is
rigid.
more straight than your other option.
yes, it is.
do we have to, we have to get the state's approval if we choose this route to move the center line?
Well,
I don't know.
every time we want to do something in town, it seems like the state, and it costs money. It seems like we have to pay for it and it's our road, but who knows?
Is this a class 1 town highway?
Yes,
We established that, so I think then it should be the town's purview.
Yeah,
but
it's at the top, it's at each end that it becomes the state highway, and then it's ours as you get into Bristol.
yeah,
It's ours, but we have to ask for permission.
Mission for a lot of
from
things. Mhm.
The state to, but it is ours.
Yeah. I mean, I love this option. I think it's obviously the straightest and the safest. It allows us to put something in our right of way and not have to negotiate potentially with the property owners for Champlain Farms. I'd hesitate to have a design that you could drive over. I think that sort of is working against what it's trying to do in terms of create safety for pedestrians and cyclists and things like that.
You mean this little island in the middle?
Yes, I think you'd want to establish it as something that you can't drive over. You know, the idea of this is that we're trying to help people who walk around our village area, and I think cars would have to adapt to that.
they will still drive over it. They drive over the one down to Thad's,
Right.
but they know they've done it after they do.
Right.
And then they really know.
Yeah, and again with this too, it really creates, especially moving that center line a little bit and putting this in here, it slows the traffic down coming into this area, which is often, because it's so open right now, is very fast. And I think, you know, Sharon's right in terms of hugging to the building is because you never know what's going to happen with cars and trucks coming in at speed.
Figure you drive one truck sometimes and you've got your excavator on your tractor. Coming down, come up past covers, you're headed west and there's a car right against that white bar and right against that yellow thing, and it's gonna be a tough turn, you gotta go over something like that.
Turn into where?
You're not turning, but
Going straight through.
going straight through, you're setting over, you gotta set over.
There are times when down on the end of Main Street, you have to stop and let somebody come through. I mean, it's just part of driving truck. You
Mhm.
can't always. You
Make it.
can't always do the speed limit in the travel lane because there are obstacles you. can't get
In the center line.
North
Towards,
West Street.
Towards the park.
Yes.
so that's a problem in the winter time, because even my car right now, because of the snow, I just barely fit in the parking spot.
Mhm.
And people go around the other cars waiting to park in the Champlain.
Oh, yeah, no.
So
Well,
you-
they won't be able to.
No, but then if you make that closer, I'm gonna be sticking out. And
You're also gonna back up traffic, it already does that there.
you
I've
mean
always-
people turning into the,
People making a left into the gas
Yeah,
station.
'cause nobody
like,
wants
where
to
you
stop
park
and let
correctly
them
is where they stop roughly,
Mhm.
and then you've only got room for 2 or 3 cars, and it doesn't take long for that intersection to back up,
Mhm.
especially high traffic times.
Mhm.
As far as the island goes, I mean, I like the concept, making it passable to start with. See how it works, it's easier to make it less first. And if it's not working, make it more. In my head,
Well, I'd like to see I won't call them raised cobbles, but they're cobbles with the cement in the middle. Like
Mhm.
down the middle, where they've done it with the one between the bank and the post office.
So something similar to our stamped concrete on the edges in between the curb.
So you hit it,
on-
go
On Main Street.
But I mean, we are,
Something similar.
Yeah,
but we
Yeah,
are
something you
sort
can
of
probably
luring
run, but-
pedestrians, saying, here's your sidewalk, stay on it, and then if you.
This
make
is a
it-
safe passage.
Right, and then if you make it something that cars can drive over I mean, I think what's going to happen is probably what Sharon and I do right now, which is you could walk straight across there, but you are likely to be hit. And so you instead duck around the cars, in which case there's no point in,
They're not gonna
Putting
walk
it
on the
there.
side, they're gonna walk.
right, they're gonna, exactly.
I almost think it's worth just having the conversation with the owners of Champlain Farms and see if they're even amenable to us going the other way before we go.
Right, cause then
just
you know.
north of the pumps, you mean?
No, right against the building. I don't see that working. But, I mean, I like this piece right here. I mean, the only thing I see is that it might hurt the business for Champlain Farms.
Yeah.
If people can't get in and out of there, they're just not gonna go in.
I was in there tonight, it sounds like they're hurting for business already,
Yeah.
but.
Must because it's a little scary going
I
there.
know, right? Yeah. But
Do you have the locations of the pumps? How far is that edge of that? Okay, I'm walking west, the left side of that sidewalk presently right now. How far away is that from the pumps?
Here or,
Right.
Yeah, between the pumps and the sidewalk there.
yeah, that like 10 feet.
I'm
So enough
saying,
room for a
you know,
car.
cars.
I mean, it's probably
7 feet wide.
the same as, it's probably similar to what's at mobile.
Right, if it could it get away, getting back to Keenan said, and you walk out there now, you kind of looking down West Street, and cars are coming at you. And if you could slide that here 3 feet, and maybe instead of a 10-foot wide between the pumps and the edge of the sidewalk, 7 feet.
We would wanna make sure that people aren't getting, clobbered by doors as people are
Right.
getting
Yeah.
Mhm.
in and
I'd
out.
rather get clobbered by a door and then somebody's getting out of the car than coming out of the store.
I did talk to someone who came in and she was wondering about bike movement and if the shoulder would be wide enough for people who are riding bikes,
That's
which,
to ride a bike on the side.
well, no, for the shoulder.
Shoulder
And
by
the
the
shoulder.
roadway.
Right, okay.
Yeah, not
Sorry.
on the sidewalk,
Okay,
who are, for the people who are using the bike lane of the shoulder, making sure there's enough room there. That was just a question that was brought up.
it doesn't
Yeah.
push them out.
Technically, they can use the traveled lane, because that's what it says. There are signs that say they can use the traveled lane, so it's a little scary, but.
You have a sign down by,
We can
North
put
Ave
the
that says you
Dominican
use it
pedestrian
for
committee,
travel
I'm
lane,
gonna
huh?
figure that out.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, they can be in the traveled lane and people should be watching out for them, but I know it's scary. I ride my bike through there, so.
But also, I mean, the island doesn't necessarily have to be bigger than the sidewalk. I mean,
That's true, it could be just a curb sidewalk like they have.
Right,
Further
right.
west.
So you wouldn't drive over that because you'd see the curve there.
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be just a 6-inch raised sidewalk. through
Right, right.
Mhm. Yeah, so that is a good consideration if
Sorry.
people do tend to be, biking on the shoulder. That's something where we could cut down these buffers a bit. Make sure there's, 4 or 5 feet maintained there for them.
I mean, that's also where the angled parking might be better for them backing out, because they can see them better than.
I'd like to see 3 or the 4 in front of the post office down to 3 and angled.
Mhm.
People will get used to just going around the back of the park and they wanna park in front of the post office, they'll do angle parking there.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that was a good point about, for the parking on the north side in the winter, if that is taking up a few feet of snow space and pushing people out, we will want to be mindful of, moving that center line and that shoulder line. I don't know if there would be any interest in turning this into angled parking as well. But I know we are also at the same time trying to keep the roadway at a reasonable width, maybe narrow it up a bit to encourage.
I mean, the
those
difficulty
speeds.
with angled parking is the same thing with downtown. If you're pulling in this way, but you wanna go that way,
Mhm.
it's hard to pull out and turn around that
Yeah.
way.
And it does seem like
They
this is
have
the
to pull
main-
out and come this way and then like go through Prince Lane and all the way around,
Mhm.
although some
They're
of them don't do
supposed
that.
to anyway.
Yeah, but they don't. I mean, that's just a downfall with the angled
Do
parking.
you gain anything angle parking because the one side of the car is off the curb?
Yeah, I mean, it is, it does have some safety benefits just of people, not pulling out as far, having a better view when they're backing out.
But as far as saving space, I don't.
It does lose you a few spaces.
No, but I mean, space lengthwise.
Like out into the roadway, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna save any, parking the car on an angle is not gonna give you any more
More
roadway.
space. No, I don't think so either.
If anything,
No,
it might,
it does. It's gonna give you a couple more feet.
how? The
'Cause you're
car is,
turning. If the car is 10 feet long here, you're gonna have more space here as you turn it, right?
It's true, yeah, it works.
It's not a tremendous amount, but it's better. And to speaking to Michelle's thing, like the cars aren't supposed to back across the road. You're not supposed to, as Peter said, you're not supposed to do that anyway. You back out. I know they do, but hopefully one of our police officers will be driving around at that point and catch them.
I mean,
Yeah, I-
it's supposed to cross the road and go into a, like, if they're heading, like, they go through town, they're heading. They aren't supposed to take a left and go into those angled parking spots either, but they do it all the time.
No, I know.
Yeah, I think it would be safer. I don't think you gain
Gain a
any. Well, Joel just did the thing here with the paper and you actually lose ground.
I did it here. Okay, there's a pulling into a parking spot and then. See, I have
So by the
to,
time you back
maybe
up,
where the tire hits, I'm over the curb, yeah,
Right.
then I'm,
but he's still already back.
but that curb is 8 inches high and then it raises right up to the lawn, so. Yeah.
Well, it depends what the angle is.
Yeah.
Well, it'd have to be a steep angle, so you'd end up losing a couple
A
of
couple
parking.
spaces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would lose some spaces.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we've had those parallel parking. Or whatever it is. Not parallel. Parking for so many years, people are used to it, so.
I'm not really sure we got a ton of parking on that side of the park. To make the
Unless
ones in
there's
front of
something
the
going
bank,
on at the park.
ones in front of the bank and the post office that way. Post office, I could angle them, and the bank ones either push the sidewalk out towards the road. Or cut that down and then make them angle too. You know, coming from the west, they could angle them.
Well, I can take notes and send you our feedback.
That'd be great. This is also being recorded, right?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm guessing that the bank put that sidewalk in when they did the bank and that is their sidewalk.
Yeah.
And that we maintain it, but I would almost bet that we don't own that sidewalk. We don't own the land under that sidewalk.
No,
Well, probably the same with the post office then.
I
too,
always
doesn't
told
it?
them.
I did
The post office is out by the poles.
I did some research into surveys available and I found a couple surveys that suggest that the sidewalk is in the town right of way in front of the bank. And I found one that said no. So where is it actually?
It's in front of the bank.
It's in
We know
front-
that.
Yeah,
You know,
but the historical aspects of it.
So I'll just,
I'd like to see, before we back up on that.
yeah, please.
That one with the pumps and see what 8 feet would be away from that edge of that left sidewalk be, and how much then it would be away from that yellow line.
The problem is gonna be making that turn to get in between.
Yes, it is. You're right, Peter. And do they have a curb cut that's grandfathered and it's that long?
I think it probably is. That's been that way ever since I can remember going down there as a kid.
But I don't know that there's a grandfather for curb cuts like that. I mean, it's just been
That
open.
station been there.
Well, no, I understand
Early
that,
1900s,
but
and
the town right away is town right away. They don't
I
get
realize that,
to
and we
clean
block
up.
it off.
Mhm. I don't know.
I mean, part of the pro of tightening up these curb cuts is that since you are gonna have people walking across here, it'll control the movements of cars a
Right.
bit better as they're coming in and out,
Yeah.
so they will have mindful, they can't really.
Which is a positive.
Which is a positive, you know, people are gonna be out here, we want the cars to be taking their time, making those turns. As well as they're coming out,
Yeah, but I can see it affecting their business.
Oh.
You know, if there's a car parked at the pump that doesn't leave and you pull in behind it and fill at the other pump and you're ready to go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know, I mean, right now, they just pull in and just pull wherever.
Right, but that's also, it allows them to redesign their parking, have a better area. They also have parking on the west side. They have numerous spots that they could improve. So they have lots of opportunity for cars to come and park there. They don't have to come and park. At the moment, they park right in front of the building, in front of the pumps, leaving enough space for someone to actually park at the pumps. And that's essentially parking right on the sidewalk that's there now.
But I don't think Bruce can give a ticket parking in front of that pumps or parking on that sidewalk when it borders the edge of the building, when that sidewalk's on their land. That's might be a question more for Bruce than me, but I'm not. That sidewalk is on their land, not on town land. To go up against
That's
that,
not a town sidewalk right now.
well, that's what we're
No.
posting.
You're saying if we do go that
Proposing
route,
it.
it
Yeah.
would be a town. They would give us an easement for that sidewalk, so.
Right. That's why I think alternate C, this one, for us and control over it, is the best possibility because it's in our right of way.
Boy, I think you're gonna upset a lot of people.
Mhm.
And I think you're gonna, I think you're gonna affect their business.
I
I
think
will
there's
say-
probably there'll be a lot more people who are excited to walk safely across there than there will be people using their business. I can guarantee you that anyone who walks in the village is going to be more than happy not to get hit by a car walking on sidewalk designed like this.
I don't dispute that at all, Ian. I'm just saying, you're really gonna affect their business.
With no empirical evidence, I would say I think this is one of those things, having a curb here that will probably, confuse people for the first few months that it's there, but that, eventually people will get used to. Like they've already gotten used to this kind of funky placement of the pumps anyways, and be able to make their way around.
We did it when Corkins owned where Thad's were, they pumped gas there. We did it at Mobile. I'm not saying it won't work because it obviously is working there. And it, it probably is just a matter of getting used to it.
I mean, as Chris was saying, it would be better if that, we'll call it the east exit out of the Champlain Farms was just an exit.
Mm.
Cause then you would, when you come in from the east,
You could only gas one way then.
Yeah,
yep,
Yeah.
you'll come in the west estrus and then head out there.
You could only gas one.
that's one way.
Well, then, but you're only gonna be able to pass one way now anyway.
No, they come in either way.
But at the end of the day, when traffic is out to here and I'm coming here, what I'm gonna stop right here and wait to pull in here against the wrong way.
They
Well,
let
then we do road signs. We stop letting people drive wherever they want to.
A few seconds further down the road to the mobile.
Right.
You
But
just
that's
let-
what we say, we're
tell
gonna
that to
affect their
Champlain
business.
Farms and see how that far goes.
Yeah.
We can't.
Well,
It's our side.
I think we should definitely talk to Champlain Farms first and see if they're even willing to let us be in by their building, or if they have big objections, but.
Who's the one that owns Champlain? It's a big,
Simmenegger, Walter and Dave Simmenegger. Walter's dead now. The son is.
Yeah, but we send the bills to
Wesco Oil.
yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it a
There's probably,
West-
corporation?
he probably owns the business and they own the land.
Walter
Yeah.
E. Simmenegger, that's what Wesco.
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
So, just so I'm not taking up too much of your time, this is an evaluation matrix that we put together, just a simplified version to show some of the other considerations, including and beyond what we've been discussing. But some of the things we consider, obviously cost tends to be a big consideration. And alternative C would most likely be the most expensive because you are putting in the most new sidewalk. With alternative A and B being somewhat less so, although there would be different right of way acquisitions required for these. We do have a row of potential right of way impacts. Alternative A, mostly on that west end, going through more parcels there. Alternative C, of course, alternative A and B having, to negotiate with Champlain Farms if you go the route of having it against that building. But a few different considerations there. Fortunately, not too many utility impacts for above ground utilities. For most of the stretch, the sidewalk could be configured so that it's not, gonna be going through any utility poles and hopefully no trees either. As we've been considering it, we believe that pedestrian comfort will be most improved with alternative C. Just having that straight away, the 5 feet consistently. But safety will be improved through any of these alternatives. And it will satisfy the original purpose of the project of just connecting those missing sections. None of these alternatives are expected to have, major impacts on historic or natural resources. It is already a developed environment, so you're not gonna be cutting through, sensitive areas. There will be some new impervious surface, with some of these alternatives where you're widening the sidewalk or just installing a larger sidewalk. But again, not to the point that you would likely need new, stormwater accommodations or anything like that. And, building off of that, pretty similar permitting needs for all of them. But yeah, I mean, the other thing that I will just say about these alternatives, obviously you can do a mix and match approach. If you wanted this sort of treatment at the gas station, but then to have, this section, closer to Maple Street be, closer to the road. There's definitely ways that, you can puzzle those pieces together, maintain the crosswalk on this side, maybe take out the tree or just tighten up the radius. But yeah, so at this point, definitely gotten a lot of good feedback so far, but if there are any other, burning thoughts or questions people want to share or, any opinions, very much open to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there just my last question?
Yes.
Is there kind of a matrix you guys use, or let's say that sidewalk, and I said there was some of that 4-foot section that's pretty bad. Let's say there's 30% you're gonna keep. When does it become say, okay, we're not keeping any of it? Is it get down below 20% and say, well, there's 20% of sidewalk you might be able to use over?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a certain, threshold, at least that we've had in mind. I think that would be up to you guys if you feel like, man, a lot of the sidewalk is just crap and let's replace all of it.
Or it's all 4 feet and it's not great shape, so we're gonna take it all, make it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's the desire for that, it's not really based on, a certain square footage, it's more, if you guys really want to maintain as much as possible, then we'll say, wherever you can.
So do you have you said third alternative was the most, did you have, this was either all the 3 of them were replacing it all? Or not?
No, this was assuming that, basically any, particularly damaged sections would be replaced in all 3 alternatives. But yeah, I mean, that's flexible and, could be changed depending on what's wanted.
Yeah, I understand that.
No, that's just the.
Oh, cursor.
Mhm.
I, just a thought with the parking on the south side of the street there. There's parking in front of Howden Hall now and they fit off the road, and I almost think the sidewalk is further back in front of the bank. So you should be able to fit cars the other way. I'm just trying to think, when we do coin drop there can be a car parked at the bank. A car against the yellow line, and we'll have cars run between, so there's a fair amount of room there.
On my way home today, I'm going down, look against that curve, and get out and measure with lens, over to the yellow line, see what it is. I'm gonna do that tonight when I go home.
You don't want me to park there and do that.
No, no, but you're big. I'll go and get a big truck with a plow on it, see.
Okay.
Thanks.
What else do you need from us?
Mostly just feedback. The schedule going forward from here is, we have these 3 alternatives, depending on what we hear, the feedback we've gotten so far. We'll put forward a recommended alternative, that is preferred by the town. We'll, create some more, in-depth details, a specific cost estimate. That type of thing. We could decide, exactly how much of the existing sidewalk we would want to be replaced, to a more in-depth look at what's out there. And we'll put all of that together into a final scoping report, which we will eventually present again to the select board for approval and endorsement. And once you have an endorsed scoping report, that can be used to secure funds, apply for grants. And that is something that would be included in the report is, potential grants to go after, that could help fund this.
Kevin, do you, as a landowner there, do you see anything that raises concerns to you? Do you have to unmute him, Ian?
Yeah, I got it.
No, just a couple comments. I like it all. I think I'm with Ian. Like, anything you can do to improve pedestrian safety is a good step forward. The only comment I had about our particular property, if you're obviously looking at doing anything to mitigate costs and doing it in piecemeal, that section of sidewalk from, I don't know, whatever, the bank to the creamy stand. Oftentimes when I see that happen, it just seems like spots that are replaced are left low, and we're still have the unsafe sidewalk conditions because the sidewalk doesn't get raised up and put at least even, if not higher than the ground on either side of it. That would be my only comment about that. If they're going to be replaced in sections, just pick it up. So that it's, going to promote some water getting drained away from it. And the only other comment I had, I love the extra parking. I do think we are short on parking downtown. But as a person that sits by that window every day, the amount of times traffic backs up past my office west is kind of astonishing. I don't really know why. I didn't realize we had that much traffic, but I do think that could be problematic for that perpendicular parking. Because unlike Joel, Michelle, Peeker, and myself, most people pull in and don't back in. And I think backing into traffic when it's backed up, I'm not saying it's impossible. I just think it could be challenging for some. That's all. But thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
My last comment would be I'd like to see the first proposal or the second one where you move the West Street sidewalk closer to the road. And say, you got away from that house, that first apartment house, use that section and then down by, the Houghton Hall, that area, shorten that bank up, sidewalk, push it towards the road more, or cut the curb back if you're gonna have diagonal parking there. And then I like the proposal, getting it out of the street, but not I don't like the run going up to the store. I don't think anybody will use it. Middle of summertime, that's why I asked, I walk right straight. If I'm going from here over to the post office, I'm gonna walk right by the pumps.
I get in my car and drive. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'll put my email in the chat. It's just mcoombs@bhb.com, but I also do have some posters showing these alternatives. I don't know if people tend to come through these offices. We can maybe display, just let people give more feedback. But yeah, thank you all for the feedback. It's been super helpful to hear. So I really appreciate it.
Well, if you
Thank
get
you.
nothing else from us, it's feedback.
Thank you, Madison.
Awesome. Thank you, Madison.
Thank you.
Oh, financial status update, Sharon Lucia.
We're late. No, you get to come up here.
Oh, it's not gonna be short, sweet.
Oh.
Chris is gonna give a summary of the audit summary next. Right now, we don't have a balance sheet to give you. The auditors finally, they gave us the adjustments that we need to make
For the audit
for the
for
audit.
2024.
Right, so we don't have accurate intel, we can make those. Journal entries, which Chris is planning to do this week with Darlene.
Tomorrow on with.
Then we'll have a better idea. The number.
Where we really are.
Yeah, what they really are after the 24 audit, and then we can start on doing the 25 audit. So.
Maybe they'll eventually catch up.
Well.
If they do the 25 in the next few months, you're basically on time, you're
Yeah.
already a year behind.
Oh, yeah.
And from the audit standpoint. We'll be entering, what happened is because they're 2 years behind, and we got behind. The system can only go back 1 year. So we had to make a copy of 24 so that we can close out 25. We'll apply the journal entries to the copy. And then Nemrick is gonna Chip's gonna do some magic.
To reload it and merge them.
And then after that, we should have accurate data, which would allow us to provide you all with a balance sheet every month. And also looking at condensing down the budget status report to a 1-page doc. And give you highlights when we see questions, red flags that we're concerned on.
That'd be great.
From the audit itself, we had one major finding, which was the lack of a cash management policy around federal funds. Sharon, myself, and Greg sat down, we pulled that together.
sent it off, and the auditors looked at it and, Miranda felt it would meet what we needed to do. We sent them that with a corrective action plan, so. Other than that, the only other real thing that they said that, which are things that we knew, we weren't reconciling in a timely manner, still before, but that has been resolved. So I think personally, we're in a good spot, next week, after this week, we will have. Like we said, a realistic number, and I'll give you what I'm just needed, fun, because I don't think you have a lot of.
Unassigned.
Unassigned, I don't think there's gonna
Unassigned.
be a lot out there.
Yeah.
Just from looking at the numbers.
Mhm.
That's where we sit.
There's not gonna be it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that we're getting eaten up from overages and projects and things like that.
Yeah, well, we need at least 5%. Before we can use any.
Use any of it,
For
yeah.
anything. At least 5%.
Mhm. So are we gonna be able to see the audit, the 2024 audit?
You have.
Is it in our box?
Yes,
Box?
you'll have my
Okay.
box, hard copies in your box.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
It's also on the website as well, if you wanna do.
I like the hard copies.
That's a good spot.
I like paper. When it comes to that stuff, anyway.
Aaron, I just have a couple quick questions for you or Chris or Greg. One. Thank you for the printout, first of all. Page 2.
Print out of what?
That's the budget.
You wanna
We haven't
pat,
got
you
this
wanna,
yet.
you wanna
Okay.
share the rest of
Okay,
it
sorry.
with the rest of us?
That's next.
That's the next step.
Yeah, budget review.
Okay,
We ain't got there yet.
sorry.
I mean, I am.
Yeah.
Okay. We won't talk
Sharon, you're
about
done as
27,
well?
24.
I'm done as well.
We're talking about 24, and that's fiscal year 27, we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna even come close to matching.
Yeah, okay, you're like 30%.
Not to share it.
All right,
Here you go.
so if they're both done, no more questions for them? Budget review.
Yeah. Cool.
Where's page 1?
Alright, so what we're doing tonight is just going over, this is a draft, obviously, budget. I understand how I do budgets is very different than how you all have previously done budgets, so we will. We will learn together how to work together. What I thought would be the easiest way to do this, would to be piecemeal certain departments at a time, so you all can digest draft information in chunks instead of all of this from, even though the town budget isn't ginormous, it's a good amount and has a lot of different expenditures going out, so if it's taken me quite a while to review it and process it, I'm expecting you to just review it hastily and understand it. So that's why we picked certain departments. So what we did tonight is go over the general fund, PD, fire, let's see, Lawrence, well, no, not Lawrence Memorial in there, but just general operational costs. And then we can get into like, DBW, water, sewer at times. So if we start at, I think so the first couple of pages are generally as they come through are revenue, like as you put in the town report. I don't budget starting with revenue. What's important to me is understanding what the bottom line cost is. And so any number you see in here in the proposed 27 line is based on what vendors, taxes, commissions have communicated to us in terms of what the actual costs are. So on most of these lines, there's not really room to haggle over a cost, a proposed cost, because it is what it costs. So if we don't, like, if we say like, well, I don't think this number is what it should be, well, we're gonna end up having to take money from somewhere else and we'll be over budget and we won't have a clean. It's hard to manage the town's money when we don't appropriately budget the amount or what things cost. So if you start on 0100, which is here for you guys. What you'll see is general salaries, DPW isn't in there. Most salaries are proposed at a 5%.
Page 2.
Well, this year.
Nothing. They're not on the right page yet.
That's all right. So
Yeah.
you'll see that salaries increase for the most part at 5%. There are two areas where we had to go over. And that is because those positions are high impact positions within our town, and they were originally negotiated at 32 hours. And if you know anything about, which you all do, the staff here in the town is, I haven't met anybody that doesn't have numerous job titles. And those numerous job titles and functions can't be accomplished within a 32-hour work week when one job title is only gonna get done in 32 hours. So in planning, zoning, and grant administration, two key areas in which the town will be relying heavily on these staff. I brought them up to 40 hours. And it's gonna be necessary because grant administration will be necessary to do requisitions and get reimbursement as fast as possible during water infrastructure project, Holly Hall, and the library. And there's gonna be a lot of invoices going out. We're already dealing with tons of invoices that eat up the majority of that time, and there's very little time as it is right now to do much else. So like you'll see that in those two departments, those salary lines. Let me see here. So I mean, there's not, I guess as a percent change, it might look large, but in terms of absolute change in dollars, it's really not that much. Going up 12,000 in one and roughly 18 in another. But these are good staff and we need them to do more than what we currently are doing at 32 hours. I did 3%, we did a 3% lister salary change. There wasn't a huge change from clerk and treasurer's office in terms of supplies. What you will see is like when we go through Howden Hall, like heating costs go up. Electricity's gone up quite a bit. But for the most part, that's staying fairly stable.
What page you on now, Chris, or Greg, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so right now I'm in admin now. Well, hold on, before I move on from general fund. Salaries, is there any questions about that?
That. General expenses, personnel, salary administrative officer, you over here in the note says. In 2026 included an assistant at 20 hours for 20.
Right, that's just a note, and that's not even the right place for it. The note actually applies into salaries, town clerk and treasurer. It's the assistant position.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah. It's the assistant position you paid about
Right.
30 days ago. But we just wrote a note there, but it does fall under salaries, town clerk and treasury. Which is where currently the part-time admin assistant is also billed, or excuse me, invoice, budgeted from.
Have you hired someone?
Not yet, we're going through resumes and stuff, we would like to have someone soon. Salaries, fire, rec, election. Like, it's all like very minor changes and uptick. There, Howden Hall, right, year over year, I mean, it went up $800 in additional costs in pretty much all utilities. Admin offices, we had a training line of $4,500 previously, so my recommendation, you bump that up to $10,000. And while that from a relative percent change seems like a lot, training all of our staff at $4,500 really opens us up to quite a bit of vulnerabilities, as evidenced by certain types of inspections. And so when we're talking about getting those staff up to proper training and OSHA standards, we're gonna need that extra $5 in training dollars there. Office supplies have increased a little bit. Our computer and technology need increased by $10,000. We've been under budgeting this for several years, apparently, and we continually go over, so it doesn't really, like, that is more in line with what the actual costs are.
Well, that's because, well, you have a computer, we have a tech fund that money was coming out of.
For all the services.
Oh, okay. That's, that, I was just like, okay.
It's
So
not like
this-
$20,000.
this is-
This
It's
is
not computer, okay.
Tech and all that stuff.
Okay.
Just said
I mean, you should, yeah,
It's
it's the software and the score.
Everything about hardware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So anytime we have support. and those kind of things.
It's probably as cheap as you can run a town on for software. One big change here. Right, so it was 76,000, year before went up to 103 with the largest additions and change being in training and actual costs in IT tech. Holly Hall, for the most part, just pretty small. Admin electricity costs have gone up quite a bit. One thing you'll notice though is that previously you budgeted for Holly Hall building maintenance at $12,000. I would make a recommendation that you move that up to $50,000 immediately. There's significant amounts of maintenance that has been deferred over the last 15 years since you've done any work. We're doing $1 million project renovating Holly Hall above us, and we have rotting windows over here and stuff out here. Certainly we can figure out a way to get those things fixed, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, this is our main building, it's the pride and our branding of the town. We should make sure that it is in good operating order and structural integrity.
So that's not under the Capitol building.
Capitol building will be used entirely for Capitol building like Holly Hall, but I think that moving forward, we have so much deferred maintenance in this building that and other buildings that we own, that if we don't start taking care of it now, we're gonna get in a situation.
Well, then we'll get to that, I guess. And then my question is do we need to up the Capitol building?
You're probably, I mean, that's certainly a discussion that we'll need to have, but I think with projects that we have going on and the increase in costs, that you should definitely think about increasing the cost for Capitol building as well. Professional services was relatively the same. The biggest increase you're gonna see there, without going line by line, is that previously that there hasn't been any sort of budgeting for auditing fees, which the first 90 days I've been here, we've just been audited left and right the previous years, and it's very expensive. So
I thought we had a line item for audit.
Well, we do, we budgeted 18 and then we budgeted another 18, but we spent 35 and 25 so far,
yeah, we haven't even,
halfway through.
we haven't paid for 25 yet, and
What happened to our contract? I thought we knew what the contract was.
We did for the part that we knew we needed,
Mhm.
we had to do a single audit, that's additional. That was like another 10 grand or something.
yeah,
Okay.
single audits are
We're
gonna
do
add up.
another next year, so.
Yep,
Mhm.
well, we've been doing one for every year
Yeah.
for many years moving.
As long as water projects.
Those are the single audits when it's over $1 million grant,
Yeah,
right?
But if you guys are like, yeah, it's the water, cause
It's
the
just the
money
water.
comes from the feds and it's 100% grant.
So we didn't pay a single audit for like.
So everybody pays for
Don't
that.
firehouse dry.
We got triggered this last year because of the funds in Pine Street combined.
So
But-
if that's for the water,
That should-
why is the town paying for that,
Right,
not the
that
water
should go into a
district?
water district. If that's a $10,000.
Why isn't that,
Well, it isn't
why is
this-
that the water budget?
Because that number, the feds look at it as a single entity. The town has that. They're adding those two together. They don't separate that from an audit standpoint. I can ask Miranda why.
Well, no, I think Michelle's talking about the next one. This one here was our ARPA money was.
No, it was two. It was that plus Pine Street.
Right, but Pine Street wasn't a ton of money compared to the ARPA money.
Mhm.
Well, it was about half.
Mhm.
So,
It wasn't
but going forward, the $4 million on Bristol
West Street.
West is
Bristol, yeah.
is all water
Water.
department that's gonna trigger it. It's not.
So don't we have to put that in the water?
is Holly
Water
Hall,
budget?
Holly Hall and the library are not water projects.
No, I know that, but I was just talking about the water project.
Well, but
Do we have to,
it all falls under the same.
Going forward, you could add it to that. I mean, you're already raising that.
well, I know, but I'm just saying, people that are not in the water district are gonna start asking these questions, so we need to have an answer.
Let me ask the auditors that
Yeah.
question, because without, I need to make a guess and be wrong,
Yeah.
but I'll find that out for you.
All right, moving down to fire department, which is 00634. Largest changes here for chief are uniforms and PPE because of new hires. There's an additional, let's see. Building and ground maintenance has gone up. And I think the tower went down for the most part. These are pretty controlled costs for the fire department. But when you add new staff, you need new new tanks and new gear and everything else, and needs to be sized appropriately and whatnot, so.
Well, I had a conversation with him about the ground maintenance that you probably ought to look at having that yard sprayed the.
I've already
pavement.
started looking into, I mean, I wasn't gonna really talk about it tonight, but there's an opportunity for us to. Be more efficient in some of those contractor services when it pertains to cutting grass and everything, so we can talk about it. But there's money to be had there, you are not wrong. FD outside services, for the most part, roughly around the same, right? I mean, couple $100 more.
Right. Mhm.
Year over year.
Radio communicate or tower rent or
Tower
dispatching went up considerably. right?
Yeah, I've included that in the annual services. So luckily we're already in camp and some of that, and then the bond payment.
I just know because she told me.
Sit down.
Similar to, he said he added to services, so.
Oh,
Yeah, it's in
Oh.
annual services. Towers, leases separate.
budget, same.
Are you guys good with fire?
Mhm.
Okay, rec department, really just holding strong there, if anything. Well, Meredith's and her department's still just on the dollar, so she's being able to make do. Recreation programs, roughly around the same. Small increase in, Elder Eagles program and town residents. Which I believe does generate revenue.
Town.
Town riders, that's the bikes,
Oh,
right?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The bikers, yeah.
Teen center expenses, year over year, same for the most part, minus some pretty notable raises in utilities. Town parks, minor uptick. We were denied for the fountain grant. This budget line does offer. Or we're proposing $500 for annual maintenance. This would be an opportunity to add anything in there if you want to. I don't have any recommendations anytime, but as we're just going through certain departments, just want to make a mental note that that grant did not go through. The fountain is not fixed, and I'm
The
sure.
fountain itself or the fountain, the
base
reed,
being built.
The chair.
the reed, whatever.
So we can maybe add a little bit to that, if that's a concern.
How's his fundraising going? Do
Yeah,
you
I
know?
was gonna ask that.
We, I can speak to that. We, both Ed and I this summer got personally backlogged on
Mhm.
other issues and weren't able to capitalize on it before Harvest Fest, or, I mean, we weren't available for any of the.
Okay,
Um,
so he's still working on it,
Yeah,
but it's just not.
and the grant, we're free to, we'll reapply as part of the grant.
Yeah.
And she said, just keep applying.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll hit.
They'll get weak and
They'll start
Okay, you know,
making us.
They've been applying for the last 2 years.
Burlington just beat us out. They're just going positive.
Mhm.
Pottery expenses. Small minor uptick, that's because we added. One personnel and pottery contractors and labor, however, the entire pottery expenses have been revised by. Chris and Rec and the pottery folks, and it's pretty self-sustainable now, even regardless of a small increase. Town committees, same. Public safety. Is literally the same, just about, you get your voted appropriations there. And that's it. We can go over PD.
I know, but I don't like fucking that number.
Bruce is still on, if you all have any questions for him. Bruce's is very straightforward. Probably because of unionization and everything else, a lot clearer and.
We just on page 8, the bottom one, because we don't have any, we don't know what our, we haven't put anything in capital, for anything in.
Oh, well, yeah, well, we can.
We don't need to
we
talk
haven't-
about it
We
tonight.
haven't decided. Right, so I didn't wanna presume. But it would be a good opportunity to rehash some of that when we have through.
I mean,
As Michelle mentioned,
bare minimum, we should put in the capital road to paving.
well, that's in there.
No, you don't have any numbers, is what he's saying. You don't have any number for 2027.
I haven't done DPW yet, so.
Yep.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so, there was, not that there's any that we just, remember, I just wanted to give you certain chunks of time and digest. DPW had some other things that I wanted to, need a little more time to reconsider to make sure that
Great.
we weren't gonna need more money on the back end on something else,
Mhm.
given, you know, so, yeah, I just left that and I'll have those numbers. So for police expenditures, salaries, 6.5% across the board. And then training, let's see. Detailed labor is same, I'm sorry, part-time salary is about the same. By committee, all that is proportionally unrelated.
We're catching up.
We just kind of.
So training, was 1,500. Supplies and equipment, it's 10,000, it's the same. Uniforms, 4,000 is the same. Insurance was a little bit more. PD communications roughly about the same. Facility expenses the same, but I believe their lease is up coming this year.
This coming
So
year.
we'll have to evaluate, if there will be any proposed changes to that. Vehicle and gas, roughly about the same, vehicle maintenance, and so on, so. Total, so far, with a $34,000 increase on a $700,000 budget, so not too bad. Bruce, if you're still on, is there anything you wanted to add or anything I may have missed in presenting your budget, sir?
Ian, is he still on? We have it on speaker modes or whatever, so I can't.
Yeah, he's still on. I just did it so he could unmute. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Hi, Bruce. Sorry about that.
No, I think you covered everything fairly well. But
Thank you.
I'll answer questions if you have questions or try to.
I'm looking back at, I know the community resources person is not in the PD, it's in and I saw it on page 2 here.
Yeah.
Last year, half of that was paid out of the ARPA funds, right?
Yeah.
And this year it's not, so that's why it's an increase there.
Yep.
So I answered my
Yes, sir.
question.
I do have a question, Bruce, on the non-district, we were at 15 grand last year. We're now putting it back down to 10. Is there a reason that we just didn't make as much? That's not in his PD, that's in the general fund.
Right.
No, are you talking the expense for non-district funds? We've been trying to increase that every year.
What page you on that, Michelle?
7. Under public safety, says non-district.
Oh, your safety?
Yeah, under public safety. That's right. I said the non-district piece in our general fund.
Well, I apologize, we can make a question to that. What was the difference?
It was 15 last year.
Oh, well, I'll make the change
Yeah.
and bring it back to 50.
And I was just curious if we went down, that's why I asked.
No, we want to continue to go up. Our expenses go up.
Well, I don't go down, chief.
You wish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't have any questions for you, Bruce. Anyone else have any
No.
questions for chief? Nathan?
Oh.
Well, I guess we, Bruce, on a different subject, but it's be under salaries sometime. How are we doing on recruitment? Are we filled that 4th position that's left?
No, we have not.
Yeah. We're just kind of status quo right now, not advertising.
It doesn't matter how much I advertise. Unfortunately, when you compare salaries and with all of the other agencies that are also recruiting and trying to hire, we're just not competitive.
Thank you.
How much would it take to make this competitive, Bruce?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. I don't want to use the wrong words. So with the shortage of law enforcement for everybody, they have started to increase the rate of pay so it's more desirable to get into law enforcement. And although we did get a significant jump the last couple of budgets here with the town, we're still behind the other towns. I mean, you can go over to the next Virgins and it's like $10,000 more a year for the same position. You know, and some of the other agencies that are larger, it's a bigger jump. So
Are they doing it as a salary? They're doing a base salary at 10,000 more. They're not like offering a sign-on bonus and.
no sign-on bonuses. Those are pretty much, I think, the smaller agencies. I think the only one still doing a sign-on bonus is like Burlington. But most of the others, no, they've realized that the profession has changed. We've had to make some adjustments, and we all have. And the salaries were not rising as quickly as they should have, and some are doing these big jumps in 1 or 2 years, and we just can't make a big jump right now.
We can, it just wouldn't be in conjunction with the contract.
Well, that and then you run the risk of the budget getting voted down.
Right.
Right. That's we. I don't know if you realize that the 3 full-time police officers that are here, they recognize that, and they are doing their best to keep it as minimal of an increase as possible, but it is getting harder and harder for them to continue to justify, staying. I mean, they really want to be here. We're putting in extra hours, they're doing extra things, and they want to see this agency grow and be successful. We need to increase our tax base, and it's not fair to the small tax base to continue to pay for the service that others are continually receiving, because most of the activity is in our village setting.
Well, I totally understand, you know, if I come into the village and I have an accident, I want you to deal with it.
And we do, because we're here.
I don't pay for it.
And you don't pay for it. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I should say you don't pay for it. You do. There is a slight amount of money coming from the town, but when you come into the police district, whether or not you're paying taxes, you're getting that service.
But that's no difference than anybody from out of state coming in.
Correct.
I mean,
That's true.
right, you know. I mean, whether the
I mean,
town
we
pays for it or that the police district pay for it. If you're from out of town, you're coming in, you have an accident, you're not paying the taxes
At the same
either.
time, though, as somebody who lives in the town, the fact that our police district is safe, it's clean, the crime, you don't have the issues you would have if you didn't have a police force. Thus, that is what you are paying. You enjoy that every single time you come into town. Every time you go to Shaw's or Walgreens or Main Street or Mobile or the high school, you're getting those services indirectly, but not paying for them.
When people dial 911, they expect somebody to show up. It doesn't matter what their emergency is, they expect somebody to show up.
Uniform their work.
Yeah.
So the problems and the costs that are associated with the things that we don't have get a lot more expensive as well. But. Thanks, Bruce. I obviously, as a But another larger conversation about.
He didn't give you a number. He just said a lot.
No, he said it's 10K more base pay
Base
for,
pay,
so if you figure at least 3, 4, that's 40 grand more in just salary. Just to get us competitive
And had 25% of that for.
for the
fire-
Beamers and.
Beamers, Bennies.
Benny's in there.
Mhm.
Well, Benny's, yeah. Or more
Yeah.
opposite.
If it goes townwide. You might be able to get that in, you know, like you
But-
said, get the
but-
bigger tax.
But the
base.
issue then becomes. You need more personnel. And.
I don't think they're out there right now,
Well, they're not, number one, they're not out there, and
not at our wages.
number two. You increase the budget every time you add personnel.
Yeah, but my point being is that you're asking 40,000 is gonna give him at least competitive to get the fourth person on. I mean, we don't know whether he can do that with 4 people.
Yeah.
We don't know whether he can cover the town with 4
A
people.
town with 4, no.
Yeah, okay.
Brandon, I talked to Brandon's chief the other day, just had him on the street, I'm not talking to him, introduced myself.
You
They
better
got-
speak up a little bit, it's hard.
I talked to one of the officers in Brandon the other day. They've got 2.5 officers, a
Mhm.
chief and 1 patrolman in a half-time position. Because everybody else went to Rutland for $15,000 more,
Mhm.
and,
You
you could make, yeah, but anyway, they've entered into a contract with Rutland County Sheriff's Department, taking Sheriff's Department's 24, 18 hours, 16 hours, 16 hours of coverage. Speed enforcement, traffic control only, and the police is just doing crime, consistent stuff, and that's it,
Mhm.
he said. And they got $1 million budget. And they're 20 hours a week, entire day.
So what you're saying is we're far more efficient with our police.
We are very efficient. I've said it for years. We don't have an expensive police department. We just have a poor way of funding it. With 600 of us, 600 residents
Mhm.
funding it.
Well, that'll be the question on the. To John's point.
Any other discussion point? Ian, you've been oddly tall.
Ow, ow. Good one, Greg.
Door slammed hard.
I'm going on vacation next year.
I think this looks fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine until you see the bottom line.
Yeah.
Get done.
I'm already seeing it, but
You know,
it's what it costs.
we've had this conversation for years, and every year I say, we trim the budget, sooner or later, we're gonna get caught.
It's gonna bite us.
And, you know, part of it is labor goes up every year. So if we hold the line on our budget, it means we lose goods and services.
Yep.
It's just not possible to stay at 2 or 3% and give the services that we've always given.
No, we're kind of giving. Because of that, we give less every year, and when I think, I met with all the directors, and when I just look at these numbers and pass and stuff, and I think about. The type of services we give for what it costs, and it's like, holy crap, it's a lot of money, and to know that you have to match that, and. I know on paper, the number gives a feeling, but we got people working our butt off to make Bristol a better
I
place.
mean, when you do public works, salt 2 years ago was $60 a ton, now it's 90, so it's a
Yeah.
third more.
Yeah, for salt,
All is.
Yeah, asphalt same way,
yeah.
so.
And it's across the board.
Yeah, there's no executive retreats in this budget.
There's not?
No.
You said you're going on vacation.
Yeah, it's at my expense. Yeah, but I mean, like, this is just the cost of
Yeah.
keeping the town going, and the thing too, I know there's been some. It's difficult because you're trying, you have to put out a product and it has to be at this number and it's concerned about putting it down, but. The people that work for the town make this thing go, and without them. What's gonna end up happening is, if we don't. Increase it at a healthy margin, they're just gonna leave, like Bruce is doing. Like Bruce is dealing with, and I don't know how long I can go without X position. And then I'm not doing any services, and then I'm putting a title under someone else who's already got 9 other titles. That's only working 32 hours a week, who's never done with that. And so it just becomes this perpetual loop. And so that's my only point I want to make, is that while some of the salaries on paper, if you're only looking at a percentage, the relative change, the change is large, but the numbers are not that big. And so also the thing is, when you're speaking about productivity and what we're getting out of that, we're not just giving people a huge raise. We're adjusting the contract and the agreement between us that allow them to work more. And so to get more services for the cost increase, I just noodled in there, it's a pretty good garden deal. So-
Well, the other thing that I think we do quite often is we look at how the school is gonna impact our tax rate. And then we worry about adding to that.
Yeah, I worry about it.
Well.
They don't seem to care
Right, but that's what I'm saying, when they're talking 12% this
this
year.
year. Mhm.
And I mean, we stick to right around 4% and we're not gaining.
We're losing.
Yeah, we're losing ground, so.
Have you,
I think at some point we have to say, you know, we have to sit up in front of the people and say that the only way we're gonna be able to maintain what we're giving you now is if we pay more.
I mean, we can't clear the roads, we can't do zoning.
everything goes up.
Derek does elections, and you know, you need a death certificate, a land record, or any of these things that you take for granted.
Yeah, I'll just read this again, just for the audience. First half of school taxes, $2,906,114.
Yeah. If I could just have,
2,900.
if I could just have 20-30%. Yeah. Oh,
Come
wow.
on.
And we might have an executive retreat.
Have you guys looked at, I'm just curious about the health insurance yet? What's the increase this year?
It's.
Do you know? Really?
For
It's
this,
gonna be somewhere
this year.
around this.
next year.
Yeah, this year was supposed to be good, next year's supposed to hurt.
Next
Cause
year.
I've heard a lot of people, like my office had jumped.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine did
Almost
too.
doubled.
it's because ours was locks in before all that happened.
Okay,
So on the next jump,
It'll
I've
be,
already got a solution for that, so we'll talk about that.
okay, good.
okay.
And
But the only reason I asked that was because that was
I'm aware.
the salary piece. I was wondering how, yeah.
so,
I know.
so.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I know. Mhm.
All right, what's next?
Onward.
Select board roundtable. Let's start with the guy that's been so quiet and not here. That would be
I'm
you, Ian.
here. Yes, thank you. Not a tremendous amount to report. I've been working on the school line on School Street, just working on that, working on the lot information, getting that, taking notes and updating from the last time we spoke about it. And then still continuing to work on the service line replacement for the water line project for next year.
That's it?
That's a
Are you,
lot.
are you ill? Is that why you're here?
Yeah, I've got like something in my throat, so I thought I wouldn't give it to all of you guys.
That's much appreciated.
Sure. I think that's all I've been doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Don't let them tease you.
If we didn't tease him, he'd think something was wrong.
It's
Or if
true.
I- Maybe if you don't, you won't have a problem, but if I don't, you're gonna wanna know why.
We're also working on the police thing for March. Do we have that anywhere near? Discussion
I-
ready?
I haven't been working on that because I didn't have enough time. And also I felt that it wasn't the right time to do it.
Mhm.
But
Sure.
I'll be working on that soon.
Just say, need and.
We've got a list of questions from Mr. Moyers to answer, and I have the answers to some of those questions, but not all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want help, Ian, let me know.
Yeah, Ian, me too. I'd love to help you on
I
that.
was gonna say, I know, yeah, you got a bunch of information, or you used to have.
I have zero information, but I'm still willing to help.
I still got, Ian, I still got my study that I did with the 13 towns with that police department budget, so. it's a little old, but it's still something to go by.
Yeah, Greg has a lot of information. He's been talking to Chief about that. So I'm sort of his backup person working on that. But yeah, any other help I think would be much appreciated.
All right. Jessica,
So we need to start thinking about if we want to do anything different for the town meeting. So last year we started right about now. So we started our outreach efforts. We also made sure that we had childcare down here, and we started securing like food trucks and doing all of those sorts of things. One thing that came out of like going back and looking at what we did for the last town meeting was that we had a lot more turnout. And so at the back of the room, it was sort of standing room only. So if we think that we're going to continue to increase turnout, or we want to try to get more people to turn out, one other thing we could think about is a different location. And I know that's hard because it's nice to do it here. But people did suggest that we could use maybe the elementary school, and then you could also serve a meal. So the Masons volunteered that they could do like a spaghetti dinner.
Where are you thinking at the elementary school?
yeah, because the cafeteria is not.
Not that big,
not
nor the
big
gym.
up there. The gym is probably.
The gym,
considerably
I think they
bigger.
were thinking about food in the cafeteria and then the meeting in the gym. And kids,
It's cool, you have the auditorium.
Yeah.
Seating already built in, and then you.
either,
And you have more parking.
either school would be
No
fine.
parking at the elementary school, there's less out there than there is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so high school, middle
High
school.
school.
Okay, right.
For an alternative location.
Right.
The high school, I think, would be your best option.
Yeah, I think the auditorium would be ideal because. Like you said, seating's all there. We don't have to worry about picking up or putting down seating, and then I think their PA system is all there too, right?
Sound system.
Good, I don't want you guys to stuff up the new floors and all, no.
Well, I was just thinking, I mean, there were
Oh,
open
yeah.
seats.
They're still.
There were open seats and there were seats up in the.
I think Meredith said we can get 300 from there comfortably, didn't she? But are we expecting more of them?
No, we only had a little.
Well,
167.
Yeah.
167.
Right.
Did we put out all those chairs
I don't know.
last year?
We didn't.
Yeah, because, I mean,
Yeah.
there's probably still more room up there.
Right.
Mhm.
So if we stay here though, then we need to do the food trucks.
Right.
Yeah. Go.
Mhm.
I think we at least stay here at least this year and see what if it builds up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so then I should start reaching out to people about doing the same thing that we did last year, childcare, food trucks. And then we'll start doing posts. I was also going to see if some of my students could help start doing infographics out of our town report. So that it's like a one pager, just like pictures. So it's really like digestible. What's changing, what are the big issues, those sorts of things. And then after I have him do them, I'll pass them to you all to look at and give feedback and everything.
Would it?
Front Porch Forum won't let us post them though, is the unfortunate thing. I asked for permission last year and they said for a lot of reasons, they won't allow that. But you can post a link to the infographics
Right.
so we can keep them on the town website. And then we can write a posting on like Front Porch Forum and link to it.
Would it be possible to, I realize people sitting and not, who could come in on Zoom, can't vote. Well, is it possible to get a screen that they could at least get in the conversation? Somebody that's sitting at home can't vote, but they may convince other people to say, that person had a great idea.
So you mean like somebody would read out the chat? Or we would well, they're already allowed to speak.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, we do it through the chat. We ask everyone to submit questions through chat, and then they're read out as we go through them.
Right, it was
Okay.
somebody from Neat TV did it last year, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we hire Sean to handle it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, and then one last question I had was how many of us will be up for election this year?
2, I think.
Is it me, the two of us, right? Okay.
Do you guys need some signatures?
Yeah, I guess so.
Good, let me run down there and start signing.
You can only sign your name, Ian.
Well, but
Right,
also
sorry.
people know so that if other people want to run or if they have questions that they want to ask us about doing it, you know, the more the merrier. Come on in.
Sounds like an offer.
You did the Zoom last year
Yeah.
for the first, or other times?
No, we've done it.
Yeah, we've.
Okay.
Since
Okay.
COVID.
We did it during COVID.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, and do you have any issue with letting the proper people in or not? You know, like who
Yeah.
kind of
On the checklist,
shepherd
so
that, well,
I don't think there
they
was.
can't vote.
they can't.
Right.
vote,
Be in the
understood,
presence, so.
Mhm.
But they can. Bomb. They could, like.
I think we did it through the chat though, right? So they had,
Yeah.
they had. And
Make
then,
sure you know who it
Yeah.
is that's.
well, they put it in the chat and then Ian
Yeah.
would read it.
I
Yeah.
see.
I mean, they can't bomb.
No, similar to these meetings, it's kind of locked down. And so you have someone who's monitoring and letting people unmute, things like that. Luckily, we haven't had any issues at town meeting with that, but it is a possibility. So we tend to lock it down and just allow people to chat and do nothing else. And that's always worked quite well.
So you started it during COVID and you just continued it?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and we
We just
actually
got a lot
have-
more people. to
Yeah, a lot more
be involved.
people attend that way and listen.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're informed that way.
Right.
They may not be able, and that's the biggest, I mean, one of Ian's pet peeves when he got on the board was getting more people involved, getting more people to listen, and
Mhm.
we've tried a number of things, and this has actually got more people to, you know, we don't have a lot.
Physically in
At
here.
at these meetings, if we get a dozen people on there, we've got a lot, but,
Mhm.
it's still better than. Nobody likes to get informed, nobody likes to get involved until you do something that hits them in the pocketbook, and then they show up.
Or or they think you made the wrong decision.
Yeah. And then they show up mad.
Yeah.
They don't get involved in the front end, and, you know, Ian has been a big advocate for reaching out and getting stuff posted and trying to get information out so that we get people before we piss them off.
Right. And now if they're mad, they can join us on Zoom or come in person.
Right.
Great, thank you.
And at some of the other town meetings, they've adopted the use of a clicker that you have an app on your phone. So we,
Actually,
Yeah.
Lincoln is about to do it, and we're the first town in the entire state. to do
yeah.
it.
And so this is what we,
It's
Oh,
like
okay.
a closed circuit system, you are physically
you
given.
have a physical clicker.
A
So at the college,
Mhm.
when we vote, we have an app on our
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
So when you log in with your credentials, just like you would your email or whatever, and then you can use the app to vote and it shows up on the screen. So that's just something to think about as we enjoy trying to count the crowd. Just to think about in the future that we could use. I don't think that the app is very expensive.
Come on,
Probably-
I like to compare notes with you when we count, see how bad we are.
You have to have a secondary method as well, because you
Mhm.
do have, I just know from working in the office, I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I've had to help people. Is they don't have a phone that they could scan a QR code to do credit card info.
Mhm.
The other issue is security. You really want, you don't want to be on an app, you really want a closed system for the integrity of the election,
Mhm.
And the backup is the regular old
Right,
way.
where we
So you always have
stand up
that
and count, right?
administratively
Right,
to run the election.
yeah, it was just challenging at some points. We're like, you take the balcony corner, I'll take this.
I take the left, you take the right, then we'll just compare
You
notes.
sit there and look this thing on.
Yeah, you're like, good enough.
Is his hand up or is he just talking? to
Stand
somebody?
still, don't keep your hands up the whole time.
Anything else?
Yep, that was it.
Joel?
Just, you know, Greg was going over our budget, and I'll say to the people out there, when we see this new construction going on in town, the way to have your taxes stay stable is to grow the grand list. We have to grow this grand list. We
Yeah.
have to have more building. So, and I'd like to thank our new representative, Karen, been appointed, Karen Leaders Dumont.
Yeah, leaders, yeah.
Leaders,
My husband's name, Dumont.
Rhett James, is our new representative, and thank you for coming to our meetings,
Thank you for having
and
me.
I hope to see you more often.
Yeah, there's a lot of big issues.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dealing with
That's
both.
all.
You heard about the school tonight. I'm sure you'll hear a lot of that in the coming months.
We had a quick comment. We had a quick comment from a member of the public. John Moyers is still on.
Hi,
Would that be
Mhm.
okay? Would that
I
be
don't
okay
have-
if he commented?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have my video on, but I just when I came home, I got thinking about Jim Quagliano, so I decided to get back on the meeting from here in my man cave, and I'm gonna do my best to honor him and his steady presence by at least joining this way as more than I have recently. But also, I just want to really give credit, lots of compliment to you guys for making the meetings accessible, not just the town meetings, but the town civics meetings, your meetings, and the other civic meetings. Anybody who wants to see them can find them, and there it's really easy and it's very good. So I appreciate that myself. I know Jim would too. So cheers to Jim.
Cheers
Thanks,
to
John.
Jim.
Well, my last one would be, people do watch this meeting, cause I'll be at the hardware store and say, you guys were discussing this the other night. What do you think about it then? Tell me what you think. Because so, they do watch it. They do. That's all I have, Peter.
All right, Michelle?
The only thing I was gonna say, have we talked about dedication for the town report? Ian, did we have somebody from last year that we were gonna do this year, or do we need to talk about that at some point?
Yeah. Feel free to email me if people have thoughts. At the moment, we have, let's take a little look here. I have it written down somewhere. I thought I did.
Don't say any names.
Don't say any names out loud.
I know, I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, we have one suggestion I think that came in last year, but if people have thoughts, please let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then I got a call from Brian Hill, who was approached by Green Mountain Power about moving poles on the corner of
Burpee Road and
Burpee
Plank Road.
and Burpee
Yeah.
and Moncton Road.
Oh, again?
There was two accidents there, the Wednesday snowstorm. The first accident, person managed to get through in between the guide wire and the telephone pole and not touch anything.
Wow.
The second accident, there was a telephone pole that hadn't been taken out behind the working pole, and they went up that pole, rolled and landed back on their wheels.
Oh.
So Brian's ask was, if we thought maybe, he thinks what's happening is people who don't travel that road are coming up through and don't realize there's a stop sign.
Stop sign. No, yeah.
And could we put
A warning light?
a warning light on it? And he was going to, when he met with Green Mountain Power, he was gonna make the suggestion to them so that they know that this ask is coming
2 accidents in the last week.
in the same day.
I stopped at the second one, talked to the trooper for a moment. And, I said, was that car out of town or local? Go out of town. And they mostly, as you say, they mostly are, they come on Burpee Road and they're doing maybe just 5 miles or 45 instead of 40. And they come up over and then you're going, I'd like to see at least 2 double stop signs.
It is.
And I'd like to see them red lights.
The other problem
Just like
is-
down here at the Four
The
Corners.
other problem is they come to Burpee and they don't realize that the natural traffic pattern is.
It's a turn.
They assume that it'll be like.
'Cause they're going
cars, go,
straight.
Go, and then that one car that's following the real traffic pattern, that's when they get T-boned, pull out into that, so.
Well, these aren't T-bone, these are hitting the poles across the road.
These are people that aren't
Fly.
stopping for the stop sign, and probably because they're not local, they don't realize there's a stop sign there. I know.
Get that again, will they?
No, and I know, just the layout of that corner, when the road has been closed. I've gone through that intersection without stopping when Moncton Road has been closed to the south. And, even at 25 miles an hour.
Cause you go like this. and-
You have a hard time keeping your car where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So,
What did G&P say?
he hasn't met with them yet, as far as I know, but he was gonna mention it, He doesn't know what their ask is, where they wanna move the poles, but he
We've
said,
been through this before with them. though.
yeah.
But what was the whole deal? They wanted us to do
They
something.
wanted us to straighten the corner and make it come down to a T. I remember this conversation many years ago on the board.
I thought
You
they
come
wanted.
from
us
the
to-
north, coming past Vermont bicycle tour, we'd come down and we would stop going north. And go left or right, and they'd straighten Burpee Road.
So that the main road would go from Moncton to Burpee?
Go from Moncton to Dale's Four Corners, yeah.
And it's four quarter would be a straight shot.
But
Cut the
that,
hill out,
that would be
that would be
very expensive.
That's a lot for a light.
I mean, they've done this.
That's a lot for a
If you go
pole.
up by, North Road in Heinsberg and Texas Hill Road, and then you take the left by the
Yeah.
trailer park there.
Mhm,
There's, it's a four-way stop and there's blinking lights on them.
mhm.
And you can see those blinking lights, they're not great.
And people still blow it. Blow through it. Oh,
They've
I
taken
have.
that curve out, they take the. curve.
Yeah, they,
You have to stop whichever.
all
way.
four ways, yeah,
All four
all four ways now.
I think we ought to
So anyway,
look into
just,
that like they do down here for Four Corners there. Flashing, double flashing lights, like when you come from the south on 116, you know, you gotta stop because there's not up here, on the stop signs.
People still blow through that window.
You can't fix stupid, Michelle.
No, you can't.
that's a,
They-
that's
they-
a conversation. All I care about is
They come
what
up
I
and
was
they
told.
watch to make sure there's nobody coming and they just keep right on.
That's why when I come from the
It's like, I'll
north,
come,
I
I'll be
put my
coming.
blinker on to the left. I always put my blinker on.
Mhm.
town administrators report.
Not much to report. Nah, everyone's doing well, all staff are doing well. Like I did mention earlier, I'm going out of town for the holidays, so you all better be
Permission?
on your best.
Did you get permission from us?
He didn't. Ask
That's
me,
perfect.
he told me. And I said, well, and he said, you got no choice. And he says, I got business to tend to.
I need some sun.
So do I, but it's gonna be a
Well,
fake one.
come on. Anyhow, pretty much on the 22nd, it's a light schedule as of now, but I should probably keep it like that. Probably one or two things to discuss and just sign the warrants, and I hope you all have a good holiday after that, and I'll see you right after Christmas when I get back.
Sounds good.
Are we still gonna do Christmas bucks that we usually do?
The, we usually-
22nd.
We did the Bristol Bucks.
Yeah, first $2 for the staff.
We haven't really talked about it.
I think
I've been raising the question, is that what everybody wants?
The reason, okay, the reason why we did it, just so you're aware, is we figured if we gave them Bristol bucks,
They'd
that
spend
it
them in
would be
Bristol.
spent in Bristol, because there's no place else that can be spent. And I don't know, do you know, Chris or Sharon, what the amount, I mean, it's not $50.
$50 per,
Yeah. It's
Per
not on the
employee.
warrant, but
right.
Well, we could do it on
Next warrant, but we give them out on the 22nd. If we approve it on the 22nd.
Yeah.
That's pretty close to
yeah,
want to use them, so.
if that's what you want to do.
Which pleasure.
Or you could approve that, do that.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
We are having it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it would be-
You're having a get together Friday. Mhm. Well,
when were you gonna tell us?
We're not invited.
charge.
That was his next update goal.
Maybe you don't want the board.
Or you're gonna hit me up about the food budget.
We haven't seen any of that.
About Friday, at lunchtime.
Mhm.
It's really just around the holidays,
It's
and
informal.
it's just time I wanted just to take, even if you don't care about the holidays, right, and just appreciate our staff and give them some.
I would say.
Well, we usually do, yeah, we usually do pizza or something.
Yeah. See you Friday.
Good.
So,
And I would, if you're gonna do that, then I would have it available for that.
Okay.
I can make the list and.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have Greg check it twice.
Yep. Yeah.
That's why we actually have to really adjourn. I started back up.
And I will tell you, just so you know, this is something we've done in the past, so I don't have a problem with it, but. Money stuff can't be brought up during select board concerns and voted on. It can be brought up during select board concerns and then voted on, and then put on the agenda and
Agenda for
voted on
Next
next meeting.
meeting.
And it was to stop. It was
Last
to
minute
stop a
stuff.
knee-jerk reaction
Mhm.
to,
Oh.
you know, so I can't come in and say, we need money for. In select,
Forgot.
in select board concerns and say, we need money for this. and have it, we can have the
Because in
discussion.
the moment, you're gonna be like, well, of course,
Right.
it's obviously urgent, or else you wouldn't be doing this, and then
Right, so,
further discussion is not enabled, and then,
yeah,
yeah.
just so you're aware of it, it's just I don't think we have it in writing anywhere, it's just an in-house rule that
We
we.
my paycheck up for collateral. Well, that's budgeted.
We have a policy on that somewhere.
Maybe we do have a policy
We have
on
a
it somewhere,
policy.
but it's, I, just so you're aware of it, in case one of us tries to pull something.
Good to know.
Any other business for the good of the order? Correspondence? Executive session?
Make a motion adjourn.
Second.
And motion is second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Nay. Motion carried, thank you all.
Thank you.